It all leads to this. Make or break.
Vitality will take them!
A new era is awaiting.
What was that?
Make it yours.
Welcome back to Worlds 2021, taking place in Reykjavik, Iceland. We've arrived at our last quarterfinal between Gen G and Cloud9, and the North American third seed is looking to repeat their run from 2018 and make it all the way to the semifinals, perhaps further. Who knows? They face a tough challenge from Gen G, however, who could become the third team from the LCK to make it to the next round. As we see the teams loading into the arena only moments ago, I am Dash, joined by Freak, Azael, and Chronicler. I mean, what a veritable who's who of caster aristocracy, to use a line that I used in the Invitational back in 2015. A bunch of North American reps, and I feel like we need this many to counterbalance the dominance that has been the LCK and the size of Chronicler's head. Very much pulling off the Disney villain, look, I think very well, my friend.
He's trapped in a box. Someone get him out of there.
You guys are lucky. You guys are lucky I can't come over there.
That's exactly it. That's why we got to keep him contained. We got to keep that LCK dominance contained. And speaking of yesterday, the most dominant performance out of the LCK so far in Damwon, continuing their undefeated run here at Worlds 2021, Freak.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? They are undefeated. There's only been one team who's made it to the finals undefeated. They won Worlds, dropping a single game in the process. They're going to play that team in semis. It's going to be hype. Yes, Damwon are absurd, right? Even though they lost the MSI final, hey, the team that beat them, they've been knocked out. Who's left to stop them? Maybe no one. Damwon look incredible from top to bottom.
And it was actually closer than the series score indicates. Mad Lions did have their opportunities. Game 2, they had a massive advantage. Game 3, the scaling started to kick in. It looked like they had some chances there too. But Damwon is so damn good, and Canyon in particular, I think, had an outstanding series.
Chronicler, I think Azael's point is a good one, that it was perhaps a closer series than the score indicates. But even within that, to me, in some ways, that makes Damwon a scarier team, that their team fighting can pull them out of the kind of holes they found themselves in throughout that series.
It really signifies the inevitability, which we talked about a lot in the LCK, where barring, that summer split in the middle, where they had the whole role swaps and it looks a little bit shaky, this team, no matter what the situation is, you always feel like the players individually and the synergy is strong enough that they can find a way back into the game. And even as Azael pointed out, they're not perfect. They dropped the ball quite heavily, especially in the game 2, but still the inevitability always can be felt, the oppressiveness and the chance that this team can come back no matter what the game state is.
Now, Damwon, one of 3 teams that have already locked in their semifinal spot. They do it alongside T1, one of the other LCK squads, and EDG. We await our final winner of today's quarterfinal to find out who will be facing Edward Gaming in that one semi. And Freak, you already mentioned the fact that T1 and Damwon are going up against each other to see who makes it to the finals.
I mean, there have been a couple of all LCK semis, and they have been incredibly hype. T1 Rocks is the one that stands out in a lot of people's minds. That was such an absurdly good best of 5. I am hoping we get a match this good, because this is going to be fun. Yes, we have seen them before, and Damwon was the better team. It went 3-1. You could kind of throw some flags about how that loss even went, but it was fought reasonably close, so I'm hoping it's going to be a good match.
And Azael, how fitting a narrative it is that Damwon's going to have to go through T1 if they want to repeat World Championships.
It's the new Kings, it's the old Kings. It's the most successful organization of all time. It's the greatest player of all time in Faker up against the new self-proclaimed best mid laner in the world in Showmaker. And I like that he's having a little bit more swagger, a little bit more confidence in these interviews, because damn, he is good and he deserves it.
Yeah, Chronicler, hit me on this matchup. Not only just the mid laners themselves, but the orgs as a whole here, because as Azael mentioned, it is kind of in some ways a passing of the torch if Damwon does begin their dynasty here with a repeat.
It really is, because thus far, obviously no one comes even close to Faker, but the interesting thing to me is that there isn't even anyone that you can reliably make an argument for. Maybe he comes a little bit closer, there's not a clear second either. And I think that if Damwon is able to win the World Championship this year, if Showmaker is able to get with his team 3 back-to-back LCK wins, they're able to get Worlds second time, that's when you can really start having that conversation. But T1 have looked legitimately insane. They've looked way better than they've looked all year. A lot of the problems that we have with them kind of have fallen by the wayside. So that semi is one that I am really looking forward to.
Zale, let's follow up on that because I think it's an interesting point, right? It's a rematch. Yes, Damwon got the better of them last time around, but this T1 squad continues to ramp up throughout Worlds.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've looked incredibly good, at Worlds. I think, what we saw more in the LCK, they always had their early dominance in the early game, but they had more struggles in mid game, more struggles in late game. It does feel like they've shored up a little bit on some of those issues. And, if they truly are getting better, then you could have an incredible match here. But Damwon has just run the LCK for the last 3 titles, right? It's 15-1 in their playoff runs over those 3 championships. Yes, the one loss was just against T1, but they're going to have to really play an incredible game.
Now, Freak, if we stay within the realm of Korean dominance here at Worlds, but we kind of take an extra step back and go broader strokes, I want to talk about meta. And I know we've had a big conversation about meta throughout the tournament, but specifically here, let's talk supports, because it was the Koreans themselves who brought out the Yuumi, as well as a few other enchanters behind that seem to have warped the way people are starting to think about the game.
Exactly. I'm really intrigued to see if we're going to see some more bot focus. Obviously with Gen G, they play a lot around Ruler, and it's the Lulu, the Nami, the Yuumi. As you mentioned, Damwon Kia, the first one to bring out Yuumi here in the World Group stage, and was like, okay, wait, that's the thing. What's worth noting, by the way, is Yumi's advantage into most enchanter matchups. So she actually checkmates the option of kind of matching like for like if that goes through. What's interesting, though, is the common enchanters, the Nami, the Lulu. Those are both good into all of the meta tank supports. So it's actually a good call. If the meta game is Nautilus and Leon and Alice running around, you just play Lulu, and with Guardian, they can't kill you, you have Guardian. They can't kill your AD carry, you have Guardian, and a shield to give them. Like, you survive, you win the 2-on-2, and you
I have Guardian because I'm real close to Lulu right now.
And as long as I'm so in range, I can give you that shield, and we're okay. Now, obviously, the Leona and the Nautilus, like, they roam really well, and like if you watch the LCS playoffs, like that was the entire meta game, right? It was how little time can Core JJ spend in his lane and go win mid, and that could be a totally good style. But we saw with Ruler, we saw with Viper, and we saw with 100 Thieves with Huhi and FBI. You can play bot focused and win games that way, right? And top your group that way and win a bunch of games that way. We already have EDG in the semifinals. Gen G could be the second one to do that, and then we've got a bot side focus bracket and a top side focus bracket, and that's interesting.
That's a pretty cool kind of antithesis or, a comparison between the sides of the bracket. Of course, we'll see what plays out today. We've got Cloud9 taking to the stage. Let's take a look at the State Farm Assist of the Week, where Cloud9's frontline gave Sven the perfect setup to let the bullet time rain.
The best defense is a good offense, and this Assist of the Week presented by State Farm. In a fight that would have put Rogue back in the game, Cloud9's Ven laid down suppressing fire with Misfortune, giving C9 time to regroup and take down Rogue.
The follow-up.
Oh, it's fired! It's firing right to the wall. It's 3 members locked up. Instant wombo combo. Vulcan gonna get shredded down, but Sven on the backside. Huge damage back! That Brahmi was useless. Larson, can they turn it back though? Fudge now in the mid. A massive setup and a big follow-through for the side of Cloud9 and Sven. And Chronicler, I think if Cloud9 in some senses can find that same explosiveness and that same cohesion, right? Because that in some senses has been what has escaped them at times throughout the group stage. They may actually have a solid chance here against Gen G.
I agree. I think that C9 have shown that when they perform well, when they have a composition that fits them, when Blabber and Perks can get ahead early, they look incredible, right? And even then, sometimes they get a little bit over-aggressive, but Adversity teams over-aggress. Yeah, a little bit. But Adversity teams over-aggress then kind of do nothing for too long, and that is what they're up against, right? If Gen G make mistakes, they start falling back. So if C9 can walk that line between being aggressive enough to throw off Gen G without, throwing the game themselves, they definitely have a shot.
I can guarantee you Cloud9 won't do nothing. What they will do won't always be good, but they're going to do something.
They will do something. They will do something. Well, coming up next, Zale's going to do something. He's going to take us on a trip through Cloud9's rich history and relive some of the best moments for North American fans at Worlds before the last hope of the LCS look to make history once again. Meet us back here for a walk down memory lane.
Should we show them how we do it every day? Let's get it. Kali that girl, Kali go girl, Kali gon' stop, Kali gon' skirt, Kali got a job, Kali go to work. 뜨거워 언제나 don't get burned. 넘쳐 흘러물 than a buffet, 죽여주잖아 like a buffet. 누가 감히 on my outfit? 그 문 열지 마, that's a rough day. Don't give any more 'cause I'm better than. 필요 없는 시험들 다 뿐이미. But all of my numbers are talking back. 부루마법 메시지 monopoly 눈종이도 네 number money 필요 없대 너네들이 만든 돈들 go get it go get it go get it 더 미션 눈을 못대 못해 그래 너도 그래 cause I got it different All I ever know is life upon the throne 시작하면 끝을 보는 거야 You want more No I got it so deep though You look like you could use some more No I got it never running low Yeah I got more than enough set it up and away You know I got it like bum bum blow your mind Never giving less and it's how it'll stay You know I got it like all day all the time When I go it's for dope It ain't cool but I'm cold I don't fit in a mold I'm a rebel I don't do what you say Making moves I don't wait while I smile in your face I got different DNA What's higher than the top that's me Come take a look before falling on my feet 조용히 몸을 숙여봐 So take a look 나를 기억해요 queen All I ever know is life upon the throne 시작하면 끝을 보는 거야 You want more No I got it so deep though You look like you could use some more No I got it never running low Yeah I got more than enough set it up and away You know I got it like bum bum blow your mind Never giving less and it's how it'll stay You know I got it like all day all the time Way out 感觉犹如海浪的way now 不断往前 oh you'll never way down This is how I do it every day Wow wow 这一路上的奇迹都记住了你的每一个瞬间无比的耀眼 I know you want some more 准备好
Cloud9 is still here because we don't give up, and no matter what situation we're put in.
걱정이 전혀 안 되고요. 국민은 여기 있는 것 자체가 잘못된 거라 생각합니다.
Absolute domination from Gen G.
This is probably the best NA chance in a long time.
I can hear every NA fan sweating.
Think I would back down? How could you think I would back down? How could you think I would back down? How could you think I would back down? Been through the rain for this. I never changed for this.
Genji's weakness is their mid game. They don't really seem to know what's happening or what they should do.
C9의 최대 약점은 뒷심이라고 생각해요.
They just play the best when it actually matters.
Perks is still alive. Chimpy dies, and Perks starts to rampage through Rogue.
I'm good at getting into my opponent's head.
억제에 대해서 생각해 본 적도 없고요. 저한테 위협이 된다고 생각도 안 합니다.
BDD needs to find someone to kill. He's gonna get one, and that's it.
So I was praying for this love.
I'm heading back to the finals.
그들이 원래 속해 있는 곳으로 공항으로 보내버리겠습니다.
Let's not pull any punches. The LCS has struggled at Worlds over the years. Often the target of jokes, our fans have faced disappointments, while our teams have suffered countless near misses, failed tiebreakers, and crushing defeats. Groups is a prison that North American teams simply can't seem to escape. That is, except for one shining beacon of hope, Cloud9. This year, Cloud9 defied the odds once again to break through the group of death, overcoming world champions FPX in the process. What makes this so impressive is not just that they overcame the odds this time, but the fact that they have done it so consistently, year after year. Since 2014, Cloud9 has advanced from groups a stunning 5 times, the second most of any team in the world. Cloud9 stormed onto the scene in 2013, with Balls, Meteos, High, Sneaky, and Lemon Nation, dominating the LCS immediately and starting a legacy at Worlds that continues even to this day. In 2015, a worrying trend culminated in one of the world's most memorable plays. Ball's Diamond 2 Darius Penta against Fnatic, which sadly was not enough to push them beyond groups that year. With Worlds coming to North America in 2016, Cloud9 had revamped their roster. With the exit of High, the addition of Impact and Smoothie, the team had truly become centered around young star Jensen. Cloud9 gave LCS fans something to cheer about when 66 minutes, yes, you heard that right, into a grueling back-and-forth battle against Flash Wolves, Meteos snuck behind enemy lines to find the kick on Maple, delivering him into the waiting arms of his team and securing the win for Cloud9. Cloud9 was already doing well, but set their sights even higher. And it was in 2018 that they met those goals with the addition of Licorice, Svenskeren, and Zeyzal. That year, they sent Gen G packing, making them the first Korean team to miss quarters at Worlds since 2013. Even that was not enough for Cloud9, as they once again made history by becoming the first ever LCS team to defeat the LCK in a best-of-5, taking down the Afrika Freaks 3-0 and advancing to the semifinals. In 2021, Cloud9 has once again rebuilt their roster, shocking the world by picking up the most successful Western player of all time, Perks. Reunited with Sven and Mithy, and flanked by rising young stars in Fudge, Blabber, and Vulcan, Cloud9 have built an exceptionally talented squad capable of toppling giants. A monumental challenge stands them before today. Gen G, led by superstars BDD and Ruler. The safe money may be on Gen G, but don't be so quick to give up hope, because as a wise man once said, the faithful shall be rewarded.
And amen.
Amen to that. Who was that wise man?
I don't know.
Some washed up LCS caster.
Yeah, he's okay.
The Prophet Muhammad.
Yeah, I might see him later.
Yeah, we just might. I tell you this much, I've got faith, I've got hope, and hopefully it will be rewarded today. But I think the question then becomes, as Azael has walked us through that history of Cloud9, Freak, how you feel about this roster. How does it stack up with such great investment towards international success to what they've put up on this stage in the past?
I mean, it makes them fairly high variance because if you look at Blabber, everyone has heard the Crabber memes, but his ceiling is absurdly high. You look at Perks, again, greatest Western player of all time. I agree, like, he's reached such high highs, but he's had the 0-7-0 Renekton games in the LCS as well. Like, the lows are really down there. That said, Cloud9 seem to have a clutch gene. They are 8-3 in best-of-5 so far this year. Every time they lose a best-of-5, they then win 3 straight.
That's a lot of best-of-5s.
Yeah. Lock-in tournament, spring playoffs, summer playoffs. Every time they lose a best-of-5, they go to win straight, or they win 3 straight. Right now, you know, they lost the last BO5 they played in the summer split playoffs.
Okay.
They're on 1 BO5 so far. They 3-0'd DFM. They got 2 more to go on that streak.
Hey, that's what I like. That's what I like to hear. I was a little worried because I was like, wait.
Yeah.
If they lose this one, they go home, Freak. There's no 3 more to go. But I'm glad you brought it back in with the one from Summer Finals. I want to loop Chronicler, though, into this conversation about Cloud9 just for a little bit of the international perspective. As somebody who sat on the outside in the offseason and saw this acquisition made and saw the statements made by Cloud9 in terms of the goals and ultimately for them to have fallen short in those goals at MSI in terms of showing up on the international stage. What has been your perspective in watching their growth throughout the last year?
First and foremost, I personally appreciate Cloud9 because they are very outspoken, and that can only work well. Either it pays off for them, or it's, we can all have a giggle at it not actually working out. The main thing for me that, if I look at Cloud9's performance this year, is that I don't think that the MSI performance was as bad as it looked on paper. Obviously, going down with a score like that is never going to be good. But I don't think it was really indicative, which is kind of bolstered by how they've performed at Worlds thus far. And I do think, as pointed out, that they have really high highs. I also think that lows have been, even within the same game, pretty extreme. And I don't know if that's good enough against Gen G.
All right, well, we'll have to see if Cloud9 can bring it all out, pull out all the stops here today. But I'm going to come right back to you, Chronicler, on Gen G's storyline, because as Azael also mentioned, the first of the LCK teams to have missed a quarterfinal a few years ago is sort of on a path to redemption here.
Yeah, Gen G are a really interesting team in LCK context as well, because even within the LCK, they are known for kind of showing really good performance in the regular split, and then when we get to best of 5s, when we get to high pressure situations, it just falls apart, right? You can go from BDD in the spring semifinals just looking like the best mid laner in the entire region, completely taking the game in his hands multiple games in a row. And then in finals, the team kind of looked defeated. And I think that for Gen G, they are fighting themselves as much as C9 in that they are looking to actually maintain the form that we know that individually these players are capable of.
Well, this is where, Freak, I return to you as we've kind of got the team storyline set out there on the table, and now we start to hone in on individual matchups. We had that support-focused discussion when it came to the meta. Previously, you mentioned the fact that Gen G likes to play around that bot lane, but let's talk support specifically.
Right, so you can see the shared champion pool, right? Life obviously has brought out the Lulu, Vulcan has another tank support in there. One thing I'm not showing here is the number of plays. Like, oh, well, they both play Leona, they both play Yuumi. What's the big deal, Freak? 4 Leona games for Vulcan. That's like almost his entire champ pool, just the tanks. He's got that one Yuumi. Meanwhile, you look over on Life's side, it's 2 Yuumi and a Lulu, which means half his games are on Enchanters. 3 out of 8, close enough to half. And Vulcan is pretty much purely a frontline tank player. And so this is the difference in style, right? This is really the difference. Now, I will say, most tanks actually work well into Yuumi, but you have to play around bot lane to do that. Like, Yuumi is a scaling support who, like, survives all lanes against Enchanters. If you can bully that lane, like if it's not an Ezreal, get out of jail free card, you can then punish that lane and make the play. But that means if Yumi's in, C9 has to go bot.
Counterpoint. You just don't lane and you go elsewhere and you try to destroy the rest of the map, right? You know, and that's more what Cloud9 has gone towards. You know, they're happy to put Sven in a 1v2 or in a 1v1 situation, and they're going to say, okay, we're going to go 3 top, we're going to go 3 mid. If your Yuumi is going to sit bot, your mid laner is going to die, and then your top laner is going to die, and then we're going to take Herald. And that's been more the side of the coin that Cloud9 have gone for. And of course, it does really leave you with the question, okay, well, who's going to get more out of that? Will Cloud9 be okay leaving Sven on an island against Ruler and getting punished? Because if he's 3, 4, 5,000 gold behind, well, you're probably not going to get that much on the other side of the map.
You can very much see that, too, in the 80 carry statistics, just in terms of the gold differentials at 15, much more in the pocket of Ruler than typically Sven. But again, as noted, that's not usually been C9's playstyle or necessary recipe for success, is indexing into the bot lane. So, Chronicler, we have an interesting stylistic matchup between these two squads, where for Cloud9, much more of their success has come from the top lane. But on the other side, you've got Gen G, who has shown the willingness to jump between 2 very different top laners. And so I want to get your opinion on Gen G's approach, as it is Rascal starting today.
I think that's the right call, especially initially in a best of 5. I've been very outspoken about my appreciation for Birdle, what he means for the team. But as we have already seen, he is also a point of weakness, right? He was incredibly exposed in the game against Arley, where he was Flame Horizon at 15 minutes, I think. It was a gruesome sight. And I think that Rascal, individually, still an incredible player. It's more about what the playstyle of Gen G is as a whole, where I think I'd give a slight edge to Birdle, but I don't think that initially the risk is worth it. Maybe if you're down, maybe if you need to go for a Hail Mary, that's when you sub in Birdle, but Rascal individually has had incredible lanes within the LCK, very known for repeatedly fighting solo kills against opponents the moment they let the guard down. So I am happy that they start with Rascal here. I think Birdle, it's high risk, but also decent to high reward, and I don't think you really need to go for that. Just see how it feels in that first game of the best of 5.
Yeah, for game 1, I agree. I think the point about high risk is exactly what I feel here. Gen G have literally never, in this roster's history across 2 years, punched above their weight in best of 5. They have never ended the LCK higher in playoffs than the regular season. When the going gets tough, they're 3-6 in best of 5s in this roster. They have not stepped up. So if Cloud9 shows that they are the better team, if they do come out swinging, they need to go for a risk, put in Birdle, and shake things up fast.
So really the question becomes, where would Cloud9 rank in the LCK? We won't know until after this quarterfinal series is over. But for more on our quarterfinal, let's go ahead and check in with Shox and Mithy on the ground in Iceland.
Thank you very much. I'm here with Mithy ahead of the huge clash of Cloud9 versus Gen G. First off, Mithy, it's been a while, 9 days since you guys made that heroic run through Group A. How do you make sure to kind of harvest all the energy and all the good vibes from that, as well as the focus for such a long time coming into this best of 5?
Well, I mean, Worlds is usually always a marathon, so we just try to not burn out too much, you know, try to take some days off and just do things outside the game too. So yeah, it's just a little bit of finding the right balance.
Yeah, I understand. In terms of kind of the meta read, I heard that a lot of teams coming in were a bit taken off guard by things like the Graves priority as well as the Yuumi. How do you feel your read is in general, and especially the fact that you may have the full 5 games to draft for?
Yeah, I mean, of course, we were also one of the teams that got a little bit caught off guard, but we've been able to see a lot of games now, and we've been on the same patch for a long time, so I think things have like sort of calmed themselves down.
Calm down.
Yeah.
When it comes to Gen G, I feel like there are some clear, very strong points for them in the mid lane, in the bot lane. Where do you feel personally you match up the best versus Gen G?
I mean, I think they are very good at what they do, but they usually always do the same thing. So hopefully we can, surprise them a little bit and like make them a little bit uncomfortable.
And finally, maybe for yourself, of course, being back here at Worlds, it must have been a great experience and doing so well so far. But how would you say the general feeling of the team is and the confidence coming into this as the sole LCS representative left? And in fact, the last Western hope here at Worlds.
I mean, yeah, it's I guess it's an honor. I mean, we're mostly focused on ourselves, and I do think we have a very good shot. And I think, yeah, so we're just mostly just thinking of ourselves and what we have to do to like continue in the tournament. And I mean, it's great that we're the last team, but it's also sad in the same way. So it's like a bittersweet thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know how to answer that.
No, it's fine. Yeah. I get the vibes, of course, and I'm sure it'll be a great performance today. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Mithy. I'll let you get back to your team, and we're going to throw it over to the featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz, BDD versus Perks.
The team that's always delivered for North America at Worlds did it once again in the group of death.
C9 breathe life into North America.
Cloud9 showed that they can deliver under pressure.
Perks survives, Trimby dies, and Perks starts to rampage through Rogue.
Led by a player whose comfort zone is playing on the edge.
Chris trying to do what he can to disengage, but now Perks ulting in, gold card on the LWX, spent, blood in the water, he can smell it.
Sitting across from Perks in this matchup will be BDD and Gen G.
Rula, can he find the Moonlight Vigil this time? It's going to be stolen by Clint. The three-man knock-up as well as right into the backline.
Whereas Perks thrives on the edge, BDD is exactly the type of player that can push him off.
Before BDD needs to get into this fight fast. El Yoya pops the GA. BDD needs to find someone to kill. He's gonna get one. Clid healthy enough. GA popped, and that's it.
He has been a staple for this Gen G roster and seems to have a sixth sense for shutting down aggressive plays.
One gonna fall. Jensen gonna be next up as Tactical is gonna drop.
This is a match for the pride of North America and the dominance of LCK.
Spotlight today falls on the mid lane, where the two stars of their teams will battle for control of the lane kingdom. In our featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz, BDD versus Perks. And Azael, let's start on the side of BDD. What an incredible group stage performance he put up.
I mean, even in the losses, this man was trying to 1v9. He was playing incredible. Unfortunately, he played a little bit too well against one of our North American representatives.
Damn you!
Made his sleep bubbles look like they were point and click. I mean, he was just really, really playing an incredible group stage. And I think it's pretty frightening coming into the quarterfinals against him, because if he's on that level, it's so hard to bet against him.
I mean, Chronicler, in a group that was so close, he really did feel like the difference maker time and time again for this Gen G squad, and even getting them to this point.
I don't think there's ever been a question that BDD has been within the top 4 mids of the LCK. And amidst Chovy, Faker, and Showmaker, it's really easy to kind of lose track of him. And the main reason for that, in my opinion, is because he's not able to always play to that level in high-pressure situations. But when BDD looks good, he looks like he can match anyone in the world.
And Freak, while we laud BDD for his performance in the group stage and in a number of ways his consistency in showing top performances, even if the team was losing. You look over to the side of Perks, perhaps just as integral to the team's success, but as we've mentioned before, maybe a little more volatile.
He is a little more volatile, and his champ pool is like almost double across the summer season overall, which is going to count Worlds. Perks has, I want to say, 20 champions played, and BDD has 14. Like 50% more, right? Like Perks has a lot going on, and BDD's pool is, I mean, not only more narrow, but it's very focused on just several champions, right? Like he's played a ton of Azir and Zoe here at this tournament, and that means if Perks has an Ocean, that means he can find the counter picks and kind of wait for those matchups. And I imagine mid counter pick to be a very big part of this match.
I mean, that's kind of what Mithy was hinting at a little bit. You know, Shox asked about, well, where's their biggest advantage? He said, well, they play really well, but they always play the same way, and that allows you to prepare these picks. That allows you to prepare strategies to hopefully take advantage.
Reading between the lines there, I like it. Now it's time for predictions. The last quarterfinal here at Worlds 2021. If you missed out on voting today, make sure you check out @MasterCard Nexus on Twitter to cast your vote for next week's series. But for now, Gen G versus Cloud9. It's 56% rather votes towards Cloud9. Take it, leave it.
Much more fairly voted than I think yesterday's matchup. Where,
what are you talking about?
No flame the Mad Lions, they're very good, but like Damaki were clearly the heavy favorites here. This is about a 50-50, so I side there.
All right, fair enough. Let's jump right into analyst predictions though as well, because I want to find out if you all agree. Freak, you're first on the graphic, so you get to go first here.
Cool. I'm a play-by-play by trade, so history is all my analysis points. Gen G are winless in international best of fives on this roster. 3-0 Cloud9.
3-0 Cloud9. They don't stand a chance for the LCK squad. Azael?
I'm going to be honest. I could honestly see it being 3-0 one way or the other.
Yeah.
We got this drop. People like, Cloud9 to finals. I'm like, or maybe Cloud9 3 quarters. I still, though, if you don't have faith, why are you even here? I'm going Cloud9. I'm putting it closer than the Freak, though, 3-2.
All right. Well, I also have the faith, Chronicler. I have you here for a reason, and that's to bring some reason onto the analyst desk. So help me out. Where do you fall in this prediction?
I do it with a slight tremble, but I am, of course, going to side with Gen G. I think that even though Gen G have faltered at times, that really doesn't kick in until semis at the earliest. You know, this is not semis yet. And individually, I think these players are incredible. Ruler in particular has looked completely revitalized. 3-1 Gen G.
All right, well, I've been handed a grab bag of predictions everywhere from 3-0 to 3-2 and teams winning on other side. So really, it's anyone's game. The final team for the semifinals will be decided today as it's do or die for Gen G and Cloud9. Dracos, Kadril, Kobe, take it away.
Thank you so much, Dash. I like it. I like the strategy coming in from our analysts. If you predict every possible outcome, at least one person will be right. We'll have to see. I imagine there are a lot of NA fans out there watching the broadcast. We'll see if Gen G can come out swinging. Because, you heard it on the desk. Maybe a bit predictable. Maybe a team that has gotten too much into their comfort zone. It's something that even they acknowledge, that they've been playing the same way since last year.
Yeah, they very much do. I mean, in the Gen G self-documentary they were talking about, you had the coaching staff flaming and talking to the players about, at times, their lethargic approach to changing metas and them being so secure in the way that they play the game. But you get a certain amount of comfort from going back to the same champions. And BDD specifically, this tournament at Worlds, has shown what the rewards are for playing what you specialize in. Specifically with his Zoe, blasting both games there, beating Team Liquid, beating Longzhu with it in very impressive manners.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time, comfort sometimes is key. Sometimes you're late to the meta, sometimes you're late to pick up things like the Graves Top or whatever it may be. But when it gets to the quarters and semis, it feels like comfort is always the best thing to go back to if you find ups and downs in these champions.
At the end of the day, a win is a win. Gen G can have their eyes on that. We'll see if they default back to comfort or if they've adapted more, if they're going to bring more picks out. We did see a little bit of the Amumu. We saw hints of that development over time. Last time we heard from BDD, it was the end of week 1 of groups when he was giving that insight. Has had a lot more time since then to study the meta, to adapt, and see if Gen G can get over some of their weaknesses and being slow to adapt and show us more today.
And speaking of a win, Freak just said it on the desk. This iteration of Gen G are winless in an international best of 5. They bombed out in quarterfinals last year against G2, and now they're up against Perks once again in the quarterfinals here at Worlds 2021.
It's so important to highlight because there's so much history between these teams, not just from the Gen G quarterfinal last year where Perks beat them when he was playing on G2, but also for Clid. 2019, both best of 5s. He played on SKT. He got beaten by Perks in G2. Then in 2020, he's on Gen G. He loses to Perks in G2. Now, in 2021, in a quarterfinal and an elimination match, will he, for the 4th time in a row, lose to Perks?
That smug mid laner space.
Oh, yeah. Perks has a mental advantage. You know Perks is writing something in the pre-game lobby chat, trying to get into their heads all the time. Getting into draft, Kobe, we were talking about mid lane champions. We haven't seen BDD play LeBlanc. We haven't seen BDD play Rise. We haven't seen him play TF. So I think C9 might have an edge in specifically mid lane champ pool.
Exactly. The point of the meta and this team adapting and playing to it. So many of these roaming mid lane picks, some of these mid lane picks that offer map control rather than lane control. You know, BDD, you always associate the Zoe and the Azir with him. Meanwhile, they're banning out all 3 Perks target bans. LeBlanc, Aurelia, Twisted Fate. Rise is left up for them, though.
Yeah, and we see it right there. 3 mid lane bans. The only other champion that BDD has really played has been the Syndra, and we saw Perks' Irelia against Rogue. 5-1-10, had a great game. 25-minute win for them. But with MF down and Yuumi down, that takes away 2 iterations of bot lane. Aphelios first picked, expecting Gen G to prioritize some kind of thresh. And there's the Ziggs Lee Sin insta-lock from Cloud9.
And as easy as it is for us to talk about Perks versus BDD, Ruler is a core piece of this Gen G lineup. Him getting Aphelios is massive, but the second we see this Ziggs locked in means that Cloud9 are throwing us a curveball. Sven on the Ziggs, they can play towards the bottom lane or they can free Vulcan to go anywhere else.
Okay, so we haven't seen Life Thresh at all at Worlds yet, but he's gone for the Lulu blind pick. How does C9 want to approach this? Do they want to pick up a mid laner here, like a Syndra, like a Ryze? Is that a Yasuo? Is that a Yasuo locked in?
Lee Sin Yasuo, baby! The kick combo into ultimate. What? They're just daring BDD.
I was expecting some kind of Damwon comp in mid jungle, right? Syndra Lee Sin, maybe some Ryze Lee Sin, give him some setup, but no, instant level 6 CC and banning out BDD now.
Let me tell you, this is such an ego on BDD. They're gonna pick up the Yasuo here and then ban out his 2 champions and dare him, see what you have next.
And the thing here that's so scary is we've heard it from Gen G so many times. They are a team that preps well, that plans well. When things come out of the blue in the game, whether it's in the moment decision making, maybe if it's crazy picks on stage, they do not always respond well. They are not always ready. So the question inevitably is these bans start coming through, is BDD ready for this Yasuo?
And that's such a good research that ban there by C9. Yes, you have Sinza on one side, but BDD has been playing Set this year in the LCK, and it is a decent matchup into Yasuo Lee Sin if you build for just armor, plated steel caps first base, so really targeting BDD's champ pool there, but he still has Syndra, and Syndra is a very powerful champion with Xin Zhao. I'm expecting BDD to maybe lean towards that.
Meanwhile, they're looking at support here for Cloud9. It's got to be a playmaker for Sven to pick up for Vulcan here. The Nautilus is kind of a no-brainer. You get your knockup guaranteed on somebody for the Yasuo later. Plus, it can provide those roams. If he wants to leave Sven, 2 wave clear on the bottom side with the Ziggs.
Kennen is such a huge pick right now. If C9 can get Kennen and have AP top, AP 80 carry, their setup is perfect. But if Gen G can deny it, what can Fudge counterpick? I feel like C9 are spelling a Kennen last pick here, so Gen G are going to smartly take it away from them. Does Fudge have another AP champ? Maybe a Gwen might come out.
He could go Jace into it. Jace still up. Very good matchup into Kennen. It would be very heavy AD and only rely on the Ziggs carry, but it can come through.
Yeah, that's my only real worry when you go for matchups like that. I mean, you could go for Camille, right? It does have a lot of true damage inside its kit, so you're not really falling into that as much. But the Kennen denial, very smart pickup there. We'll see if Fudge wants to pick out something like the Gwen.
Aatrox now coming out. At the end of the day, it does make it feel like
Aatrox mid.
Potential Kennen mid or an Aatrox mid. Certainly still have the luxury and the flexibility here, but BDD forced off of Comfort. Again, Gen G creatures of habit. To see them forced onto new picks already in game 1 is going to be a reckoning. If they can do well on these champions, if they can adjust on the fly, it is huge for this series. If they fall down, easy for Cloud9 to keep the momentum going.
Yeah, I think it actually is going to be a swap here. Jarvan instead. Now that can be good into Kennen if you go for the all-in. And I do very much think it's Aatrox mid into Yasuo because it's actually a good matchup into Yasuo. But for the top side, if the Jarvan doesn't get jungle attention, you have to play off your kill threat versus Kennen. And if they don't actually have focus up there, then it falls away as a pick. So you got to think it's going to be default game plan. Leave the Ziggs by himself to wave clear, roam Vulcan up there, support and jungle.
And we saw TL run Jarvan top. We saw Alfari play it into, I believe it was, they were picking into a Kennen. Mad Lions, I believe it was, Armut playing the Kennen. It did work out. They got a lot of early kills, but the Jarvan fell off. The Lee Sin might fall off. C9 are on against the timer.
Well, as Gen G and Cloud9 load onto the Rift for our last quarterfinal, we're getting the perfect setup to game 1 with the tunes of the North American Burn It All Down remix featuring Denzel Curry. Be sure to check out the song and all the different remixes on the official League of Legends playlist on Spotify. And of course, the tension rises. There's so many questions that are going to be answered in this game 1. Where and how do Gen G want to play? How will they respond to so many of the wild picks that we are seeing? Ziggs in the bot lanes for Sven. Can Cloud9 make it work? Is it a kill lane? Is Vulcan leaving? I know I've got a million questions, and I'm sure you guys are in the same boat.
Well, I actually know exactly how they're going to play. Not so much questions. I think that this opening draft here is right into Gen G game plan. They have such good scaling opportunities. They have a lot of good defensive ones. It's going to be Cloud9 the aggressor, Gen G trying to buy that time. They've got Aphelios Lulu for later and Kennen if they can bring that together for the team fights. However, Cloud9 will accelerate this game. Mid and jungle roaming, playmaking opportunities will be so important for them.
And let's look at the synergy Cloud9's champs have. Yes, the Yasuo Lee Sin is one combo, but Jarvan Ziggs into Aphelios, Lulu, Kennen, 3 immobile champs, no flash. Jarvan ult into Ziggs ult, that's a one-pop, whoever is inside that Jarvan ult. So really good setup to deny the immobile carries of Gen G, but I'm really scared for C9 if this Aatrox and Aphelios are even 20-25 minutes in. I feel like Gen G scaling is really heavily favored in this game.
Oftentimes, too, when you're playing against Kennen, and it has been very difficult for so many teams here at Worlds to play against Kennen in the later stages, you need someone to mark the champion. Jarvan is one of the best at marking Kennen because if you find him on the flank, you just ult and then EQ out backwards. And it forces Kennen to either be stuck in the Cataclysm, as we don't have anyone caught here in the level 1, or have to use the flash early. So definitely does have a important job later on in the game as well.
Certainly, and mitigating some of those options if it is a more even game state is going to be key if Cloud9 do want to come out on top against so many of these incredibly powerful team-fighting champions. Similarly, if Ruler and Life get ahead of the clock, maybe in a way that could be unexpected, very hard to just burst him down. Yes, Ziggs Jarvan feels good, but if he's got a shield bow, if he's got a fed Lulu, very hard to take out that champion.
And let me cast your minds back a year ago when G2 faced up against Gen G. You know what happened in all 3 of those games? Level 1s. They always got a flash, they always got a kill. The level 1s from G2 were really creative. We saw a little glimpse of C9 trying something there. They won't get anything. It's just going to be a ward trade-off. Ward on the Raptors for C9, and then this blue buff warded out for Gen G.
And it's important where they went for it, right? Because they're trying to get, if you would have been able to get a flash off Kennen early, that just completely changes how you play the lane. You don't get to go so aggressive as Rascal on the top side trying to harass him, and that would just be an easy target for those jungle and mid and support roams we talked about.
And I love how we were talking backstage about Sylas, Rise, Zoe, Azir, Syndra, and it's Aatrox versus Yasuo. C9 had to leash the blue, so all in.
Going in. Easy trade so far, but Life just autoing back, not too concerned whatsoever, just takes it on the chin with the Guardian and walks away.
Yeah, Guardian deceptively powerful there for the support combination. Obviously, there with Aphelios being able to start very aggressively in the trade. Vulcan down to
taking a lot of damage here. Vulcan's in trouble. Ignite now going forward. He's going to go flash for the auto. He's ticking. He's burning. Life going to do it. Turning Life into death. First blood for Gen G.
Yeah, Cloud9's bot lane really disrespecting Gen G there. They leashed. They didn't have a ward in the bush. Gen G had bush control. They're double range champs, and C9 have no heal. The second that hook misses and Vulcan can't proc Aftershock, he's dead.
Yeah, super big lapse in judgment there from the Cloud9 bottom lane, from Vulcan himself.
All in. Drag, Auto going forward. Rascal does have flash. He can try to walk away, but easy just flash auto follow. Solo kills on both sides of the map.
So much action on both side lanes. Lots of all-ins. And C9 winning out on the top side. Gen G winning out on the bot side. Solo kill for Fudge.
Yeah, what roams? You know, doesn't even need any roams. The harassment from the flag here with Airy, with the Doran's ring start. It's something that we mentioned and touched on the last time when we saw Team Liquid do the Jarvan into Kennen response, but they didn't have such a good opening, and since Camera was on bottom side, didn't see the extra health exchange. Here is the movement from Vulcan, though, as they go right in for number 2.
He's trying to push them out of this bush. You see he puts the ward, he's trying to push them out, but the second he misses the hook and he can't get Aftershock, he exhausts, flashes out, Live finishes the kill, so bit of a misstep there from Cloud9's bot lane, but like we just saw on the top side, going in favor of Fudge.
And we were absolutely ready for this game to be all about mid lane. Instead, the side lanes are where we have to look. Fudge finding a solo kill, bot lane finding that 2v2 kill, and it is so big because we know Cloud9 want Vulcan to get out of lane. They want him to roam. Life and Ruler are not letting that happen by finding these early advantages.
One of the other big things in both of those kills was that the wave was actually in a good spot for both of the ones getting those kills, so or receiving them. Rascal teleports right back, Fudge teleports right back, bottom side as well. You get to actually hold on to your teleport from Sven. Ziggs just stays down there, relying on the wave clear, has Biscuit, so he can just push out now and still go back. This means that you kind of buy time for openings for possible Vulcan roams around the map. He's going to be very vulnerable, though, because he has to rely only on Hex Flash, and sometimes it can be a liability walking around if you get caught out without your jungler.
Yeah, with top lane no flash, that's where the Kennen is most vulnerable. He won't have that for another 3.5 minutes or so, and the Jarvan level 6 is deadly, so Gen G need to cover top side soon and start to get top side vision. They already have a vision in the River Brush. I think Clid basing now and going to his top respawn should help out Rascal a little bit.
Want to point out the deep ward they took the time to put on Wolves as well, because both junglers starting on the opposite sides of the map means that blue quadrant respawning for both junglers should be opposite sides of the map, and Blabber showing on some of these wards means that Xin heading towards top side to cover and to help that Kennen is going to have priority there, but Cloud9 using the time to take over on bottom side.
And of course, in the meantime, as we wait for some more action in this game, Verizon 5G All Chat. You can share your thoughts, your impressions, anything over on Twitter. Verizon 5G All Chat, the way to do it. Let us know who you think is going to take this game. It's still very early. Anyone's game, absolutely.
Yeah, both junglers just cycling through their second clears now. Blabber on the bot side, Clid on the top side. They're going to keep mirroring each other's pathing, but that ward, like you talked about, Kobe, on the Wolves, should time out, but you can see the ping right there onto Blabber. Gen.G have full information of jungle. C9 should know where Clid is because he didn't show on the top grab. He was on bot grab, so it means he started top side. You'd expect with the early ward on the Raptors too. C9 put a lot of bot side vision here. You can see, I think they'll spot out Clid soon.
Take the time now. Clid's starting to move down, but obviously having that vision on it makes sure that the bot lane can feel relatively comfortable just to sit under this tower and wave clear. Interestingly enough, Ruler, because he does not get the kill, drops by a Cole when he retreats, so not able to snowball that early kill lead into anything more than lane pressure at this moment.
So C9, their comp really spikes at 6. Jarvan ult, Lee Sin ult, Yasuo ult, the setup is great on the top side, and Sven has saved his TP in case anything kicks off. So Gen.G will be at a disadvantage at level 6 fights, especially given that Sven has TP, but Gen.G's comp scales very well, so it's on C9 to look for some kind of plays. Both junglers contesting top side grab here, but look at Vulcan. He's first on the play, but he's spotted out on the ward in mid. No, he's not. He actually ran around it, so Clid might face check into the support here. Blabber is showing.
Walks out of the bush. Perk's getting lower and lower. Infernal Chains will not pull him back. They're now going to fight for the crab, but Clid's going to grab that one and run away. Quick flash out, though. Getting that one for free in the end, trading it for the Scuttle Crab.
A little bit of money earned there, but not a lot of meaningful map advantage. Now you get to transition back to the other side. He will get access to the Xin ultimates pretty quickly here with his level 6, but that flash is another opening for a possible punishment as there's no other escapes for this champion.
Yeah, definitely, especially with Jarvan, Yasuo, Lee Sin on the new team. I think play the steel caps will be the aim of the game for Gen.G, and you can see the problem Gen.G have in the early game. If Vulcan runs out of lane towards topside, Life has to match him on a Lulu, which is not ideal. You want to match it on a melee support because it's better in early skirmishes. As I say that, the level 6s have come in. Rascal's flash should be timed, so they should know it's around 30, 45 seconds from now. Maybe they have a window. Blabber gets spotted out, so they should know Fudge is here, and nothing will come of it.
Also looking at the early upgrade for the Berserker Greaves there for perks, a lot of possible setup for this Yasuo. If they can gain control of the mid lane, you know, they've just pushed out of River there, so the ward vision around River for Cloud9 can allow him to either go play off those hooks or kicks, or even Jarvan EQs on top side.
Certainly is an option, but of course I think it's good that we're looking now at the bottom side of the map because the support matchup here is something that we need to take into account. You can see duo proximity significantly lower, 14th coming out for Vulcan here, whereas Life spending a lot more time. We're seeing that exemplified here. There may be C9 fighting for this one. Perk's roaming down. Yasuo can get him in the area, but they don't want to take the risk. Happy for now just to settle on the blue buff. Of course, Perks doesn't need it, so easy for Blabber to pick that up and take the extra experience.
Yeah, the level 6 from C9 is just really scary. All Blabber has to do is ward jump, kick someone. The Yasuo instantly follow on top of a Zigzag, so no mobility for Gen.G to actually contest that, no vision either, so instead they're going to move towards the top side of the map. Blabber's top side camps are respawning, so maybe Clid wants to look for something there, but Herald spawning. We just saw the kill and assist at 15. Vulcan is first. He needs to be out of the lane, and he needs to be helping his team a lot as Perks. Goes on to BDD.
Getting caught out there by the first 2 hits of the blade. Definitely make that trade a little bit difficult. Not really a lot of sustain yet for the Yasuo. Blabber in the area, not sure if they fully want to commit for this one. Will we see a kick come out? Blabber for now backing off. Life in the area. Vulcan here as well, but down a level. Both sides just going to walk away.
So much matching so far this game. Just trying to defend all of these possible openings. Yep. They know it's going to be explosive when it pulls out, but bottom side is the big payment for Gen.G because they've got Sven recalling, and he actually does not use the teleport.
Exactly.
He's saving his teleport for possible Rift Herald play on top side of the map.
Yeah, so the trade-off should be the Herald for those bot plates that Ruler just got, but Perks just got really chunked out. Maybe Gen.G fancy themselves a fight here.
Committing the ultimate now, hitting the first hit of the blade. Perks forced to flash away. Third stack now coming out. Blabber on the pursuit. Rascal ready to go for the wall if he needs to, but he's not going to. Blastcone takes him out to safety, but Gen.G with control on the top side.
Just like that, BDD will earn the opening for Gen.G to get the first objective. Not much that Cloud9 can do about it now. Flashes burn for both Perks and Blabber, taking down a lot of the playmaking. Fudge is actually still sniffing around, though.
Looks like C9 are just losing out everywhere on the map. BDD has the mid push. Rascal's first to respond on this Herald, and C9 get pushed out of topside while Ruler is getting plates in bot. So it's only a 400-500 gold lead for Gen.G right now, but they have a lot of gold ready to be used. Clid secures it. Fudge.
But now fully committing. That's the TP going in. Cloud9 want to take this fight. Fudge might be in trouble, but Blabber's on the way. Rascal on the backside, though. This could be disaster. Sven going to ult, but it's not going to do anything. Fudge going to... They've already taken the Herald. There's no reason for C9 to fight here. Fudge now running. Maybe they've saved Fudge's life, but it doesn't look like it. Winds become lightning, and Fudge goes into the dirt.
They're trying to collapse right now. They use the teleport from Sven, but they can't get anything. Gen.G sweep the map of objectives, and guess what? You see on the mini-map, He's heading right back down to bottom lane. Ruler walking his way towards another minion wave for Aphelios. That turret is already at 2 turret plates as well, going to sustain some damage.
And we wanted to see how Gen G were going to handle some of these unknown varios, some of these crazier picks, a Yasuo in the mid lane, a Ziggs on the bottom side. Ultimately, they have weathered the storm. The level 6 that they were so scared of, they have made it through. Life and Ruler dominating on the bottom side of the map. Ruler getting so many plates. The fact that Gen G also got that Herald is putting Cloud9 in a 1K deficit that will shoot up to 2K once they are able to drop that.
And this is what we've seen from Gen G all tournament long. You remember their game against Mad Lions, where Ruler's doing the exact same thing. Carzzy runs top side to help his team with numbers advantage. He farms a bot tower. Gen G play by the book, but it works.
This game being so calm in the opening is playing right into their hands. They win 4v5 and get the extra teleport. Sven now not having teleport on the Ziggs means he has to walk all the way down to this dragon. Cloud9 going to force on the dragon, thereby giving up top push on, to the Kennen, who, Rascal, by the way, does have teleport if he wanted to join.
Is Fudge, yeah, I was going to say, is Fudge going to TP top here just to catch that wave? Looks like you will in the end. The problem now is you're down double TP against Gen G.
Exactly.
They have all the map control that they want. They have a Herald popped in bot. That's going to be first tower. You know, there's a world where Gen G can push for a tier 2 here and invest double TP to force it. They don't have to be over-aggressive. They might be a little bit conservative here, but they can do it with Rascal's TP.
Yeah, this team that has Aphelios, Lulu, and Kennen for later for these team fights, getting such an early lead and early map control is going to do a lot for them. Now, after taking bottom side, you can easily transition. Push one more wave for Ruler and Life, then you swap them, push them right up mid lane, and you can keep pressure on these turret plates. There's so much more time left with turret plates that can actually gain money.
Perkz, of course, in the mid lane doing his best to hold on. We take a look, 2K difference as expected. Perkz getting more items under his belt is good, but the steel caps, as you talked about, an easy purchase. BDD getting out of that one.
The dash, the emotes.
Flashes.
I mean, say what you will about BDD's champ pool with not playing the Twisted Fate and only a few games of Rise this year on it. He doesn't have to play what is most highly prized in the meta. The Aatrox here doing so much work for them. Earning that objective, he's the one who started out the health leads that got them the top side play. He's the one that escapes from this flash roam from Vulcan with just the ultimate on Aatrox. Definitely another great showing from him.
Absolutely is. Let's take this moment now and check in on the Verizon 5G all chat. Brian Espinoza. Let's go C9. The faithful shall be rewarded. C9 fans since 2015, Gen G is going home with the quarterfinals consolation prizes today. Absolute confidence, Mr. Espinoza. I respect that. But that said, right now, they're going to need to find a way out of this hole before they win this best of 5.
They definitely are. I mean, Rascal has TP advantage and he's bots right now, so Gen G can just play topside. C9, what's your response? They're going to have to try and shut down the Kennen, you'd imagine, but then they're giving up another tower to Ruler's Aphelios, who's been getting so much gold this game. So C9 always have a numbers disadvantage the more they play to the same lane that Gen G do.
In alignment and along the lines of those tweets, there can be an explosive teamfight here in store for Cloud9. The gold lead is definitely slipping away from them, and the item completions are going to be very difficult to deal with, especially the Gale Force on Ruler. The extra mobility there makes him more difficult to catch. But their combination, especially with Blabber's flash back off cooldown, can be undodgeable if he flashes in and gets it.
But the TP situation's really hurting them. Look, Fudge had to move mid, Perkz had to move top to try and shut someone down. If they can get a pick here, they'll unlock the map, but the thing is they're losing on 3 lanes.
Dialer, kick, Yasuo, not quite in range. They're going to get knocked back. Vulcan, if he can hit the hook, then the ult will go off. That's going to go in. Perkz immediately ults and they're backing away, but Blabber's already going down. BDD and Rascal in the area. It's going to be a bloodbath. Perkz is a wind wall, can't block that. Locked up by the Infernal Chains. Will manage to make it out. Gen G descending on C9. They have overcommitted for the play, and Gen G are happy to punish.
Yeah, C9 get outscaled and they have to force something, but Gen G have double TP advantage, so yes, you can shift up towards top and commit 4 numbers, but Gen G can just pull the trigger on double TP and match you with 5.
Gajo, that only works if you instantly annihilate Ruler, if you instantly followed up with the combo, but there is no follow-up there. He actually gets his ult off, he buys a lot of time, the teleports come in, and they get wiped. Those teleports, when they are an advantage for Gen G, you can't spare those extra seconds. You have to be surgical.
And the way C9's whole comp works is you have to single out a target, as we see in the Axe replay. Blabber goes in, but the kick is just way too early. Perkz is not on the same screen. He's not in range to follow up with the ultimate. So then Blabber's basically dying for Ruler, but you've invested 4 ultimates to kill him. So now when the double TP comes in, Sven tries to flash away, but Klid's collapsing because they have 3 pushing lanes. Gen G own the whole map.
You need to also just praise Gen G for the map movement here. They have been so calm in this early game and just holding on to these defensive answers to the first move from Cloud9. All comes down there and Sven knows with the opening, you know, just golf claps all around. It's going according to plan there for Gen G. After that play, Sven knows that there is a plummeting chance here for Cloud9 in game number 1.
Incredibly difficult. Gen G controlling the game, controlling the pace of the game, even with some hectic topside action and a solo kill for Fudge. Gen G keep their eye on the prize, keep control of the pace. We talked about the mid game. This is where Gen G are usually shaky if they don't have a lead, but they do have a lead. Much easier for them now to start this fight as they engage onto Vulcan. Has been marked out. Gen G for now just pushing in for Vision. Cloud9, of course, have playmaking potential. Can fish for maybe this 1v1 as Perkz walks in. A lot of damage initially onto the Kennen. Does. Blade now coming out. Rascal with the ulti, though, just going to find the disengage. The ulti comes in on the backside. Meanwhile, Vulcan just getting picked off. Gen G now in position to take the second Herald of the game.
Yeah, C9 are trying to get some kind of setup to contest this Herald because, like we've been talking about, tick-tock for C9. These plays aren't going in their favor, but they have to find something eventually. You can see Fudge might even want to try to force this a little bit. Perkz is around, but without the ultimate, I think they're just going to have to back off.
That seems kind of crazy. Yeah, they don't have Zig's ultimate or Perkz ultimate. And Vulcan in base, that's got to be an objective for Gen G. They should be able to continue to snowball this map as well. Dragon spawning soon. They can reset off the empowered recall here, trying to bait him towards the brush, but...
Perkz in the area. No ulti for Perkz, though, is going to make this hard. We got fights everywhere. Now they're trying to take down Ruler. Red, white, don't fight, but maybe they can make it work. Ruler healing up from the ultimate, trying to get it down. Blabber will manage to hold on to his life. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, 1 kill for C9. But what will it cost them as Perkz and Fudge are now running for their lives. Clid pushing forward. Herald collapsing topside will break the tower, but Cloud9 take Ruler down.
They're going to try and trade objectives here. They want mid-turret because they've got Ziggs who can execute that turret quickly, and Blabber will take the Dragon. But because of the Rift Herald, you have to answer the topside push. That thing will go down so quickly. It's going to get one shot here. Yep. Herald into 4 members of Gen G. They will push for 2.
Yeah, C9 get a kill. Well, Gen G got a kill on Vulcan earlier on. Now they get 2 towers. Top tier 2 is worth so much gold. But C9 have the dragons, right? They have the late game with dragons. Their comp doesn't scale well, but dragons can help them. The problem is, it's a Cloud Dragon.
It definitely is a problem, but the bonus there for Cloud9 is they're happy to trade in these sorts of situations because they had Ziggs and the capability with the satchel charge to quickly execute that mid-turret. They do get some gold back on top of the kill, plus the turret, plus the dragon.
They've also gotten both dragons, can set themselves up for that out, can set themselves up for that soul win condition, and while Gen G are firmly in control, a 4K gold advantage, we know Cloud9 are a team that can make comebacks, that can find those big fights in those big moments, and Gen G notoriously, where they have struggled, is closing out confidently in mid and late game situations.
And that's exactly it, right? When you approach Gen G in this series as Cloud9, you have 2 options. One, you go what Mad Lions did, and you play control mages, you play slow, and you let Gen G win the early game, but fail in the mid game, and you outscale them, and you punish them for their overextensions. Or you match them with firepower in early, and outscale them with neutral objectives. Right now, that's the option that C9 have chosen for. They have got 2 dragons themselves, just like we talked about, but the thing is, Gen G are just really far ahead, and they have full map control.
And here's my plan for Gen G. You wait until Ruler has his flash. Once he has flash, he will be able to carry you no problem versus this. He has been under attack from Cloud9 for the last 5 minutes because of that flash down, and they've gotten some big objectives off of it. But him having that extra mobility, plus the Lulu, plus the exhaust, plus the Gale Force here, should allow him to avoid the kind of collapse scenario for Gen G, allowing them to more cautiously play this map. And guess what? When you have White Gun and you're playing into this heavy melee dive sort of composition, if they can't one-shot you, you do so much.
Rascal locked out. They are going to get the ultimate out. Goes back through with the Protobelt, now trying to leap out to safety, but does get taken down. Blabber again clean. Another shutdown in favor of C9.
Critical pick in the mid-game where Cloud9 know that they have to take some more risky movements.
I think Clid is hovering around to maybe look. So I thought BDD's TP was coming up in 2 seconds. I thought Clid was just hovering around to maybe collapse on them, but it looks like C9 is going to back off. But like you said, Kobe, huge pick for C9. They need to make picks. They need to get Gen G's flashes 1 by 1 or kill them 1 by 1, and that's how they unlock the map.
You know, I think that reaction actually illustrates what BDD was kind of talking about in his interview with Ashley, where he was talking about sometimes they do berate themselves for not taking those split-second decisions when you see the opening and jumping on an opportunity like that, whereas Cloud9 always jump on it, for better or worse, sometimes, sometimes good, sometimes not so good.
And you need to be able to spot out those opportunities. You need to know in that moment when it comes to aggressive playmaking, this is the fight we're going to take and we need to take it now. If you are too slow, if you hesitate on the TPs, If you hesitate at all, a fight and an opportunity can slip away from you. In Cloud9, sometimes they take too many opportunities, as you've highlighted, but often better to take a few too many than take a few too few.
And that's something both of these teams need to clean up moving forward in the tournament. You face EDG, you face a T1 or a Damwon, making those mistakes and failing those split-second decisions can be fatal.
I will say, from the position of Gen G, though, looks pretty good, and you can't really fault them for being a little cautious in this scenario where they have such a big lead, and every one of their counters has worked out. They want to save the extra resources. Now, though, Cloud9 have double teleport, and that possibility, Dracos, is definitely there. 1 minute and 40 seconds left on Dragon number 3. That is the one big kind of comeback avenue that Cloud9 have open to them at this moment. Gets very scary, though, because this Kennen, this pivotal Kennen, flash coming up here for Rascal, and just bought the stopwatch. That thing can be devastating in a lot of these scenarios. Again, so many melee champs on the side of Cloud9. When you group up, when you take that Yasuo ultimate in, you are then vulnerable to a lot of the AoE.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people think of Peel as defensive tools, right? Life can buff up Ruler, he can give him shield, speed, and health, but aggressive Peel is always good as well. If this Xin Zhao and Kennen are diving onto Sven and he has forced to run away and he can't really follow up, or they're diving onto Perks, then you buy more time for Ruler. Gen G actually starting up Baron here. They have got a Helios, so will go down quite quickly, but C9 should be in the area to respond.
You wanted aggressive decisions coming out from Gen G. This is certainly one of them. A little bit high risk. Are they going to commit to it? They certainly can shred it down with ease. Not going to walk away. Zig's ult now gone. Lee Sin always has to be respected here. Gen G will back away. C9 spotting that one out is big.
Ziggs strikes fear into the heart of every jungler, K-Troll, when you're starting up Baron, and true here for Gen G. So risk avoidance here, not going to continue on with that one, just pulling them across the map. That, though, is one of those openings, some more time here for Cloud9 to try and farm Gen G, not necessarily pushing their lead to any sort of degree.
And look what C9 are doing. They're actually ignoring Dragon. All of Gen G are now running from base straight to the Drake. C9 have stayed on the map. They're running straight to top, so they're trading gold for objectives here. So this Cloud Soul we talked about, if C9 skip this, it'll be around 10 minutes before they can start to contest it. They want to trade for tier 1s.
I love this for two reasons, because if you give the Cloud Dragon, you also cycle the Soul. You will force Mountain by cycling Soul, giving Cloud Omega Galaxy Brain here. You trade up in gold, and you can get a better Soul.
True, certainly an option. Of course, at this point, we have the Cloud Rift. Will come through, third Drake of the game. So in this case, G gonna grab their first one.
Yep, that's going to be Gen G's first Cloud Drake. 3 more still, though, so it's 15 minutes until Gen G can even...
I'm trolling.
Yo, I was wondering, Kobe, what are you talking about?
I was like, cycle! Oh, okay.
Mountain, I was like, where?
I was like, we're going down in the ship, Kobe. You know, it was a little old man yells at clouds in this case, I guess, kind of literally, but, you know.
I was like, get out of there, Cloud, get out of there.
Well, no, they just want to slow the pace of the game down and get some more gold for themselves. Their whole comp revolves around gold, and they're just trading the objectives for gold. They're only around 2 to 3k gold down now, but the spikes are slowly starting to come in. 1, 2 items being built for C9, QSS, 4 perks to stop the polymorph from life and the stun from Rascal, you imagine. But Gen G just want to control the top side of the map for these next 5 minutes.
And we talked about it earlier in the game, and I think we have to hit it again. For Cloud9, it is hard to team fight against an Aatrox, against a Kennen, against Ruler, who's going to be sitting potentially unthreatened in the backline if you cannot immediately blow him up. But there are avenues. When you have a Jarvan and a Ziggs together, when you have this Lee Sin plus Yasuo combo, you certainly have the potential to blow Ruler up or another key member at the start of the fight and leave no avenue for response on the side of Gen G. So eyes on execution, eyes on the setup and the vision here. For now, we see Gen G very much controlling the top side of the map, controlling the area around the pit, but C9 trying to get mid-prio so they can take some of that back.
How cool would that be, though, if you could opt into cycling like that? It would rotate.
Just keep recycling Drakes until you get the one you want to.
I don't like this roll.
There's like a coin. You can like refresh the Drake. You go and you donate 50 gold. It just swaps.
Ding, ding, ding.
All right, Cloud9 then. With the outer turret gold, see what they can actually do with it. Some completions coming in. The QSS, the Sterix, both going to be very big for these possibilities.
There's a TP ward behind Perks that's being pinged by BDD, I think. They were pinging it and looking for some kind of thing. But the reason this game is slowing down is because Sven has a good wave. Hang on a second.
Comes Lightning Blabber going to walk away.
I was just going to say, the reason this game is kind of slowed down a bit is Gen G want to find a setup to get this Baron, but C9 have a really good wave clear in the Zig. Sven can just one-pop the wave, so Gen G can't threaten anything. But then Gen G is fine waiting for Ruler to get more and more items, so it's like a standoff right now until Drake spawns, you imagine.
Ruler walking up, and hey, right as you call it, there it is. The wave now deleted. Clid now going to be in trouble. Immediately going to use the ultimate. Yasuo waiting, trying to buy time on the ultimate, but Ruler is so damn strong. Fudge to the backline, though. Flag drag instantly into it. Perks on the Yasuo. That's one for him, one for Fudge. Now Gen.G going to be in trouble. Rascal, BDD life. All eyes on the Kennen ultimate. Rascal in the re-engage can be big here. It can be the difference maker, but Perks is still standing strong. C9 standing strong. BDD in the midst of everybody. Rascal biding his time. Waiting for the opportunity, but Fudge is popping off. Rascal can't even push. Oh, this is massive for C9.
That's an ace.
They did it! They brought the team fight together! The Cloud9 hope is still alive 25 minutes into the game, and Baron will be theirs!
Yeah, and I thought C9 would slow it down and wait for the Dragon, get a good setup, and maybe punish a face check, but Vulcan just flash hooks Clid, and now all of a sudden Cloud9 get 5 kills. They're getting themselves a Baron. This comp that's on a timer is now ahead.
And this Ziggs with a Yasuo wind wall is eating turrets. This gold lead is going to grow for Cloud9.
Those opportunities, the split-second decisions that we highlight for them, jumping in onto Clid, and even though Blabber goes down, the teleport for Fudge, they know this is their chance, this is their opening right onto Ruler.
The biggest mistake there you have to argue for Gen.G is first of all Clid disrespecting the flash hook, and second of all Life uses the wild growth onto Clid to keeping up, so when C9 commits onto Ruler, there's no real peel from Life. BDD split up, Rascal finally arrives, and then it's just a 5v3, 4v3. They just have to make sure they can land the spells, and Fudge.
Oh my goodness.
Fudge is the man of the fight.
Fudge absolutely is, and on the side of Rascal, waited too long, did not have the confidence to pull the trigger in that moment with Flash, with Kennen ult. He could not save that fight.
I love the Sven reactions, either in the big play or in the losing plays. You put faith in the knockups, and this is Cloud9, the team that originally brought you the Yasuo plus Gragas combinations way back in the day. They've got knockups to spare, even with Blabber down. Fudge finding so many of them. Perks there as well into the backline, following it up.
Yeah, and we saw in the teaser before this game, this will be an endurance series. This is all about endurance. And when you've got the most internationally successful North American team alongside possibly the greatest Western player of all time, endurance is their comfort zone.
Perks, a man who has made miraculous comebacks. Game 5 versus RNG, his entire track record on G2, now on Cloud9 against Gen.G, determined to head to his next World semifinal. Has not missed it since 2018. Wants to make good on it now. For Gen.G, they have to weather the storm. They have to find a way back into the game, because the fact that they were winning, the fact that they built a massive lead and Cloud9 still took that Baron and took that fight for them is bad news for them if they let this one get away.
Yeah, Gen.G still have good scaling though. The Aphelios Lulu will do a lot of damage in fights if Ruler can get uptime. Last time around in the fight, C9 was able to one-shot him before he could start to find any damage, so C9 have to be careful. If Ruler has uptime and can hit onto Fudge and Blabber, he will shred them down when he gets his third item. Will have the Infinity Edge.
For now, though, Cloud9 turning their attention back to their third Dragon of the game, setting themselves up for Soul Point. Gen.G for now just going to be happy to fight for mid-priority. Look to take down that T1 potentially, but Sven has ult, and they have no Baron buff, so it should be easy to just delete the wave and deny that objective.
Gen.G's mid-game kind of faltering a bit. Rascal, a lot of indecisiveness, especially in that last fight, as you highlighted. Had ult and flash, but he didn't find the angle. Now he's on the side, looking for Sven perhaps, but Sven has flash. Gen.G need to make sure they set up vision control and make Cloud9 walk into them so Rascal can find the right angle.
Yeah, I mean, the problem for Gen.G is that Cloud9 were so surgical, and they immediately knew what to do off of the win for that team fight. You get your Baron, you Baron-empowered recall, you take over bottom side because bottom inhibitor is always the most valuable. It's furthest away from Baron when number 2 spawns. You can draw them across the map, but also because you leave all that vision through red quadrant of the jungle leading up to the dragon, allowing Blabber to easily pick that Cloud Dragon up, setting themselves up for the possible soul there in 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, but big item picked up by Ruler now. Has the Infinity Edge. 3-item Aphelios with summoners up. C9 need to be very, very careful. But they do have 3 stopwatches, so a lot of time that they can buy if Rascal does find the right angle for now. CG on this top tier 2.
Hook goes a little bit wide here. Vulcan has a proc. Aftershock Getty is very squishy. Will go golden with the use of the stopwatch. Perks now backing off. Wind wall to prevent the re-engagement. Vulcan now caught out. Exhaust does go down. The Vulcan Perks now goes in. That's the Kennen ult. Essentially useless, but Ruler is not. That is the damage. Now stepping forward, spinning with all of his might. Man, he does so much damage in this exchange. Fudge walking away, Cloud9 holding on, but Gen.G fighting back.
Big escape there from Fudge at the end. Cloud9 get out with just 2 casualties there. It was such a big engage there for Gen.G. I like them actually forcing the issue here, and this is one of the times where they take into their own hands because they know if they take the focus off of Ruler, they allow Ruler to hit hits. You mentioned Cadril, 3-item power spike for here. He did so much damage, chasing down, Perks on the outset there. Vulcan does go down early and stopwatch blown.
Yeah, and he wasn't even there for the start of it. I love the aggression coming out from Clid. He just EQs onto Vulcan no matter what, ults them away, and just forces the fight despite being 3v5. He knows when Vulcan made a mistake, and he punishes it straight away. Clid, massive props in this fight.
And then you see the response there. So as soon as he flashes in and he gets a charge in plus Lulu ultimate and stopwatch goes down, immediately you have them running up the lane. Rascal uses ultimate for Kennen ultimate there. With the exhaust sound though, Cloud9 try and turn, but when Ruler gets there, oh my goodness, so much damage. Once he arrives, you cannot afford to stay in. They have to run, and they scatter. Good ultimate there from Fudge to EQ over to the Blast Cone, though, and live.
And the way both these comps work is they want to run forwards. The second either of these comps is running backwards, they've already lost the fight. Jarvan, Lee Sin, Yasuo have to go in, and Aphelios wants to be able to walk up with Kennen and start the damage. So whoever finds the first engage, it feels like if they can single out one target, they should be able to push forwards. Perks with the wind wall, Ruler with the peel from life.
Another thing to look at here, Fudge has actually gained so much experience by side laning there. He's 17 in this game now. 2 levels over both solo laners from Gen G. This Jarvan is very good at marking the Kennen. He's got a stopwatch for himself. He can go to the side lanes, use the ultimate, try and keep him out, even with all these summoner spells available. Burning them is very big.
Yeah, he has gotten a lot of XP. Level 17, but Rascal just hit level 16 on Kennen and he's basing. Does he have a Void Staff? That's a 3-item Kennen with flash up, and C9 have to be very careful about that. We've seen what a Kennen can do. We saw what Khan could do yesterday.
So much attention to detail is necessary here. Those wards that they're just pinging now in their jungle behind them have to be swept out. Everybody going on the scavenger hunt right now. Find any flank ward. You cannot afford for Rascal to be behind you.
And in a game that's all about execution, it does come down to a single ward. It can come down to a single moment, a single decision. Gen G, they failed those checks once or twice. Will they have the confidence to force a fight when it comes time? Cloud9 have found that confidence across this game. And again, I think we have to give praise to Fudge. Found a solo kill in lane, was clutch in the mid lane team fight that turned the game. We expect it to be all about Perks versus BDD, but Fudge has been showing up in this game 1.
Yeah, it's astonishing growth the whole year long for such a young player with veterans around him like Perks and Sven. But I think C9 are in a little bit of a driver's seat right here. They have the push in mid and they have control around the Baron. 1 minute's time, they have a Cloud Soul available to them. So that will last for the entire game, and having that on things like Yasuo and Ziggs can really help in terms of gap closing with the immobile carriers of Gen G. We'll see how they opt into it, because maybe Fudge can solo it while C9 start a Baron and Gen G have to make a decision.
This next fight is so pivotal, and every player in this game knows it. Look at the inventories, all of the stopwatches, these consumables for one fight opportunity being purchased up.
Stopwatches on C9.
They're all over the place. 4 on Cloud9, also 2 on Gen G to be able to pick this up.
So there's 8 stopwatches in the next fight. Perks has a QSS as well. Fudge can push in bot with TP and he can threaten the Dragon start if Gen G move topside.
Flash ult for Rascal, a terrifying thing, but as long as Vulcan's in the area, his exhaust is ready. They've cut out Clid, they're immediately gonna go for the kick. Yasuo ulti, wind wall to stop any potential follow-up. Ruler out in no man's land, way too far away to help, but all it's gonna get them is Clid's flash in the end. Gen G still trying to push in mid lane, trying to hold on to control.
Yeah, those ultimates have such big value for Cloud9. This actually, even though Flash is a longer cooldown, gives the opening for Gen G to decide to move into the river, and Rascal has found his flank.
Gen G have to be very careful here. Yes, they have the upper hand because Blabber doesn't have ult, but they still have a lot of knockups. Fudge's combo, Vulcan's ult.
Fudge now committing. Rascal on the flank, has not been spotted, ready to go in. Where is the ulti gonna go? Rascal hesitating, they're taking their time, they're backing away. C9 pull out. They know they have to respect the Kennen, they do not overcommit.
Everyone is hesitating in this fight. Clid could have been a one-shot there if Perks decided to commit, but then you're committing into Ruler and Rascal could have found an angle. Everyone is unsure when they want to pull the trigger.
Perks.
C9 pushing, oh!
Going forward, Perks is looking for the 1v1, the exhaust already going out. Perks now running for his life, dashing, trying to go back, but Ruler will not let it happen. He protects his jungler.
Can C9 burst the Dragon down though? They might get a soul out of it. Yes, Perks has died. They're probably going to lose a Baron too, but that's going to be sold for C9.
And absolutely Perks there. Unrefined aggression, the story of C9. Unrefined defensive play, the story of Gen G. But in that moment, Ruler stands supreme, a world champion above an MSI champion as they look towards the Baron.
Unrefined, I like that. Meanwhile, Gen G will make their transition. 30 seconds left on the death timer from Perks. Blabber has flash, he has Lee Sin, he has a blast cone.
They could steal this. They have burst as well with Ziggs. Gen G need to zone away Blabber, otherwise this is a 50-50. Fudge is on the side. Perks doesn't have TP though.
or die moment. Sven poking.
Blabber.
Blabber. Shock run. Blabber in the midst of the pit, but he will not get it. Clid manages to secure it. BDD off the side to make sure Gen.G can walk away, and Gen.G walk away with the Baron.
Nice try there from Blabber. Tries to kick Clid away and then steal the Nash. We've seen Canyon do that as well with the Lee Sin. So, Perks dies, Gen.G get a Baron, C9 have a Soul. Yes, Gen.G got the mid-tier 1, but C9 still have good wave clear, but this Aphelios is getting scarier and scarier. 4 items with a buffed up Lulu. As we see this one again, Blabber looks for the kick onto Clid.
Who says Gen.G is risk averse? They're willing to flip it here versus Blabber versus Cloud9, and it is close. Kicks him away, but just as he's flying out of range, Clid ultimate into Smite, able to get it.
And this game 1 is delivering. Gen.G's early game, as promised, finding advantages. C9 scrappy in the mid game to find a way back in, and now it is neck and neck. It is Baron buff versus a Cloud Soul. It is a 2k gold advantage that means nothing at 35 minutes. All that matters now is the execution in the fights and what Gen.G can do with this Baron buff.
The thing is, Gen.G have Baron, but they don't have great siege. The only real objective they could look for is a bot tier 2 if they push in mid and move into that. But C9 have decent wave clear, they have decent way to defend, so Gen.G need to find a way to just retake map control, force C9 out of one side of their jungle, whether it's top side or bot side, and then allow BDD to move around the map, because yes, they have Baron, but what can they really get with it?
Yeah, big thing for Gen.G is actually trying to create space here. Any way they can create some more space for themselves is going to be to their huge benefit. Ruler now level 17, meanwhile Cloud9 burst damage. All about that burst damage in the CC chain.
Yeah, and the thing is, if Ruler walks up to hit a tower, he has to be scared of so many different things. If he has no vision on Fudge, if Blabber's on the side, they need to wait for BDD to push in top, move towards mid, and then Gen.G can start playing for this bot tier 2.
Exactly. He cannot afford to use any of these cooldowns early.
BDD off to the side. Gen.G pushing in the bottom side. Baron empowered minions are strong, but the Zigzalt still going to do a lot of work there. Fudge going to try to make sure to delete as many as he can as Clid pushes in the mid wave, using Baron buff across 3 lanes now. Gen.G doing their best to split C9 up.
Looks like they'll get the tier 2 in the end, and that will be that. 3 minutes, 30 seconds on the Elder Dragon. Both teams just taking their time, waiting for spikes. Rascal close to Rabadon, you imagine. Sven, very similar story. GA is being picked up from Clid. All the defensive items still coming in. C9 still have 4 stopwatches. Gen.G have a GA and 3 of them. Lots of peel here from both teams.
Game 1, the tone center for what's to come in the rest of this series. Gen.G, can they find it? Are they strong enough in the late game? Can they keep their composure to close this out? Perks now getting aggressive here, does not hesitate, immediately going to follow up with the ultimate. That's a Zigzalt from downtown. BDD buying as much time as possible. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Gen.G collapsing. Still, though, the Aatrox running. It's all 80 damage. He's got Steel Caps. He's surviving as long as he can.
BDD?
Third Q doing big damage. He's holding on forever. That's finally a shutdown. But what is it going to cost C9? Ruler's pushing into the base.
Yeah, it looks like they're looking for a bot tier 3 there, but BDD's dead. No TP for 60 seconds. Fudge going in. Looks for an angle, but Perks is too far. Sven?
Rascal low, but he still has the flash. He still has the ultimate. Vulcan has the exhaust. Rascal now going forward. He's flashing in. Sven goes golden, but he's still going to get taken down there. Ruler off to the backside, completely untouched. The Aphelios free hitting across the entire C9 lineup. Of Perks now coming in. Maybe they can extend the play. Maybe C9 can get something else, but they opt not to continue the fight.
That was so big for Gen.G. Getting Sven's flash out there was just scaring him at the inhibitor. That's the go button for Rascal. They all in, they get the inhibitor. Even in knowing that they have lost their mid laner, Perks so far away that they actually can force it.
They have a blue orb on Ruler, so they're going to cancel his base. They won't really get anything for it. 2 minutes on Elder, unless they want to chase him down. It's only Fudge and Perks. Maybe they're just trying to buy time here. And I think, like you said, Sven losing flash, maybe instead of going for Rabadons now, he has to pivot and go for a Zhonya's, because in 1 minute 40 seconds, there's an Elder Dragon on the map. Gen.G invested 3 flashes on their top side to do so, but Ruler still has both sums up, and Ruler is probably very close to a GA. Yeah, I think he has it in base.
30 seconds between the major objectives, Baron and Elder Dragon. You win one fight, you're very likely to win the other. Could be the death sentence. And after such a back and forth early game, Gen.G finding lead, C9 finding a way back into this game, it may come down to one final fight. Cloud9 is highlighted earlier. Mark Rascal, mark the cannon, find him, do not let him into your backline, and absolutely, certainly, you must kill Ruler, or it will fall apart. Gen.G, it's simple. Don't let them do that.
That's a 6-item Aphelios, though.
I love that. I love that.
Don't let them do it. Just stop them.
Easy strategy. Don't let them do that.
They have so much peel. Ruler has a GA, 6 items. Life has 2 items completed as well, so he'll be buffing up quite a lot. 55 seconds on that Dragon. Eyes on Perks, eyes on Ruler. See if Perks can connect onto him.
Oh, it's tense. Every cooldown you have to be nervous. A single flash, a single ultimate burned early, a QSS and exhaust could cost you a team fight. Vulcan's exhaust still down. Rascal with no flash, but he finds access to the back line. He will do massive, massive damage. Horizon Focus completed now as well. A lot of tension. The armor coming in from the side of BDD feeling good. Sven, the only big threat that he has not itemized against. He is very tanky and he will hurt. Cloud9's all AD topside, solid at a lot of stages of this game, but might cost them at some points later in these fights.
There's the Rabidons for Sven, though. He didn't go for the Zhonya's. It's a very immobile Ziggs and very vulnerable, but he does a lot of damage. If C9 can find the right target, they can burst them down. This Dragon spawning in 10 seconds. Gen G trying to push C9 back, who of course still have this Cloud Soul.
Flank so important here. Fudge, you can see, trying to hover around here in the fog of war, but Gen G move in as 5
Perks has to be
push him
careful
out.
here. You can't show on that bot wave. Gen G have full control of this bot side jungle.
That's why they're keeping vision here. Blabber and Fudge trailing.
Elder, 7K,
That
getting
burns
lower.
out.
That's dead. That's going to get burned down. They're just going to shut down Ziggs from downtown. No, the smite secured. Clid standing strong, 2 for 2 on major objectives. But with that one, you have to feel like the Baron is going to follow. Cloud9, they didn't find the fight that they wanted. They will not find the 5v5 because Gen G, with that buff, are now looking to take Baron uncontested.
Slow and controlled calm from Gen G pays off again. That smite finger from Clid has been critical for them. 700 health left on that one. Incredibly close ultimate there from Sven. The Hail Mary attempt, but Gen G will get both Uber buffs. Bottom inhibitor already down too, so they can easily push on top side with these. Cloud9 gonna be in a very difficult situation here, trying to decide if they even wanted to push out one more wave. They're gonna have to give so much of the base.
Yeah, BDD's gonna base, pick up an item, TP straight back. There's the Black Cleaver. Gen G just have to force. Can C9 hold against this buffed up Gen G squad?
So incredibly difficult. Sven, of course, has the range advantage, but everyone else needs to leap into melee range into an Aphelios that is fully stacked. BDD completely unafraid as Clid just continues to step forward, but Cloud9 doing their best to lead the wave. Recalling here while they have the advantage, are going to go for the kick. Will connect on a few members. Gen G debating really what they want to do. Rascal's already out of the area, taking their time on this recall.
Yeah, Rascal bases and goes to mid wave. They know they have top inhib, they have bot inhib. Gen G don't want to force any kind of Nexus tower dives or anything like this. They're just going to push in mid and try to take down that last inhibitor. Rascal bases has TP in case anything kicks off, and now Gen G are just going to run it down.
40-minute slugfest. Now a 6K lead for Gen G, not nearly as consequential as the 2 minutes remaining on the Baron, the minute remaining on the Elder Drake, but Cloud9 holding on, doing what they can to play PvE for as long as possible, trying to run out these buffs. Even Sven's ultimate is not going to be enough in the face of the Baron as Ruler just steps forward completely unafraid. If you've heard of 200 years of Aphelios, it's feeling like 400 years of Aphelios with all the buffs this man has. Have to respect Ruler. Cloud9, this is it. It's do or die. Find a fight or lose the game.
35 seconds left on this Elder, though, and Gen G, they could just press it. All you have to do, wait for super minions to come in, buff them up as they arrive.
Full court press. 3 inhibitors down. So much pressure.
Has to be this wave. It has to be this bot wave. Gen G have to force. 20 seconds left.
Ruler still standing with the Infernum, landing a bit of poke. Now they're going to go in. Clid in the midst of the entire team. Ruler eyes on the prize, though. Blabber trying to isolate it, kick him out of the fight. He's been polymorphed, and now he's going to get taken down. That's the Elder Dragon buff. Perks running for his life. Gen G are running Cloud9 down in their own base. They took the Elder, they took the Baron, and they will take game 1 in this series.
And that's Gen G's first win in an international best of 5. They dropped the ball, they got aced, they gave C9 a Baron, but they found a way back into it.
Calm and collected for Gen G, especially big gold star there for Clid, landing those smites, the one on Baron critical for them. Damage comes through, they finish it off. Cloud9, giving a lot in the early game and the openings there. They were able to pounce to try and make it interesting, come back in the mid game and try and force it here with the combos, but not enough for Gen G.
And I think it would have been massive for Cloud9 in the series if they had turned around a game after what was such a Gen G favored early game, brought it back, out-executed in those fights. But Gen G holding strong is so massive as we move later in the series because it means Cloud9 heading this game 2 are going to be the team that have to adapt their strategy. That said, you can check out Cloud9's team pick as a song that represents their playstyle, Thunderstruck by AC/DC, as they were from Rascal's Kennen, and of course the rest of the teams competing at Worlds on the official LoL playlist on Spotify. For now, though, we're stepping away. We'll be back for more on Game 1.
Would you ride for me? Handshake, one of a kind, homie. I be trying to vibe on the wave. I'm a big vibe on the way. Look.
Smell irresistible. The new Axe Effect.
Red Bull gives you wings.
언제든지 내 모습 매직 단 한 번에 내가 잡아 절대 기죽지 않지 펴펴 네가 뭘 알아 견딜 수 없어 원해도 원하는 게 얼굴에 보여 I'm trouble and you running it I'm so cold when I move that way you gon' be so blown I'm the realest in the game said I'm on fire with the blade you're about to hear my name ringing in your head like whoa so keep your eyes on me now 무엇을 보던 좋아할 거야 I'm so tough let's get it show you out Can you feel the rush now? Ain't nobody bringing us down, 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 down.
back to the State Farm Analyst Desk, where it was a grueling game one for both of our squads, but the LCK's at Gen G comes out on top over Cloud9. We're going to dive straight into it because we have a lot to cover. And so we're going to start with the draft. Cloud9, in some senses, pulling out all the stops, bringing the Ziggs down into the bot lane, showing their hand there, the willingness to forego, kind of going up against each other in the 2v2, as well as pulling out that Yasuo in game number 1.
Right, so if you're going to leave your bot laner alone, Ziggs is the preeminent pick for weak side bot lane. He's got the wave clear, can survive a lot of 1v2s. It makes a lot of sense in the draft. And then to say, yeah, at the end of the day, we'll still go Nautilus, and we'll go Roam. And that part's fine, right? As far as the draft's concerned, it's a 5 knockup comp for a Yasuo. They clearly had the idea of like, well, we know BDD's champion pool. Look, if he's down to Aatrox, his 70th most played champion, okay, fine, right? So I like the idea, the construction from C9. The play is what hurt my heart a bit.
Well, I honestly think that even if there's a good idea with the construction, like you're 4 melee into Kennen, Lulu, Aphelios, right? You basically have to kill Aphelios to win any fight, and you have to run through Aatrox and Kennen with Lulu peeling, and I think that's incredibly difficult to do. And we can see, as you're talking about the play, there was just so many mistakes in these games, and you have to be willing to give up waves if they're going to proxy you on the wave like this. Level 1, you just can't fight it out, and Vulcan just disrespects them and pays the price.
I mean, you saw Lulu, right? Is literally willing to walk up and just take the shot. Like, go ahead and hit me. We still win the 2-on-2 at level 1, and they're right.
Yeah, in some senses, it was lucky for Cloud9 that they're able to find the solo kill on the other side of the map to somewhat keep the gold even. However, a very much split map. But I want to turn to you, Chronicler, and talk about, in some senses, the game-breaking moment in the early game, which was the Rift Herald. Cloud9 once again falling victim to their own aggression here and affording Gen G not only the Rift Herald fight, but advantages across the map.
And as is customary for Gen G, later on we see them throw away the immense lead that they find here. But I do think that this shows that Gen G, even though skirmishing isn't necessarily their forte, like for example a team like Damwon does, their cross-mapping and their understanding of how to get Ruler ahead, especially when he's on the Aphelios, is really, really good. In addition to that, I feel like Gen G as a whole had a very good grasp on what C9 was trying to do, trying to bait them into skirmishes. We saw multiple roams where Vulcan goes up, but Gen G is aware. They don't actually overcommit to it, and then by the point that you see BDD going aggressive here, completely bully off, and this causes Gen G to win on both sides of the map. That shouldn't be allowed, right? If you give up the Rift Herald, but you get 2 plates, you're happy. If you get the Herald, but Aphelios has the back, that's fine as well. But somehow, due to an overextension from C9 and them looking so aggressively for a play, they end up getting both.
I mean, Ruler picked up massive amounts of gold in that play without even really having to do much besides push a wave. You can see the stats behind us, Freak. And as we have already mentioned, you do expect a Ziggs to be down in the laning matchup. But almost 2K gold at 15 minutes. Granted, the Aphelios doesn't become relevant to the late game. We got to the late game in this situation.
Right, yeah, I mean, that's what AD carries are there for, right? If you play Ziggs, you're playing for the first 25, and then you can close games out or make the big play. If you're playing for Aphelios, you're looking at 3 items, right? Lord Dominik's is going to be a 3-item spike of a build. If you're going for a 2-item spike, it's probably more of a collector. But it's like, yeah, and it's funny because we're talking about the game, like, hey, which segments we want to talk about? It's like, well, Ruler's not the story of this game yet. Until the last 10 minutes where he got full items, then he was the story of the game, and it's like, oh, it's a Gen G game of Ruler's difference maker. Who could have seen this coming, right? And it's like, well, he got his good lane, he got his Lulu for the team fights, and he walked over everybody.
We do have to talk about, Azael, how we got pushed to the late game, though, because Gen G, with the early advantage, we're not without faults, and Cloud9, we're not without a couple decent looks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Gen G got so far ahead early, you just think, okay, this game is completely over. But Cloud9 finds some openings. Fudge had the solo kill earlier up in top lane. He finds an incredible engage here, multiple-man knock up there, setting up perks. They chase them down. They get the ace. They get the Baron. And from there, Cloud9 had a real shot in this game because though they didn't largely have lane control on bot side, they did have dragon control. So they had a win condition stacking towards Soul.
A win condition stacking towards Soul with that first purple buff going their way. But Chronicler, as we very much know, every second counts. And thanks to the reliable Cisco network, Clid comes in with perfect smite timings to secure the bus for Gen G. You were saying it while we were watching it. This is the Gen G way. Find a flip somewhere and ultimately win the game.
This is not, you should not do this. Like, don't do this at home. This is not actually the play you should go for. But it is something that Gen G have relied on. Clid, in terms of smite, is insanely clutch. Right? Like, sometimes he doesn't have the best of games, but it feels like his smite does more damage. He shows it time and time again. And if those sprites don't go the way of Gen G, C9 just win this game.
Yeah.
And this is the frustrating thing with Gen G. Like, yes, they got the win, but if every game goes like this, like, who knows who's going to win the next event, right? Like, it's going to be a coin flip because you see so much of the Gen G issues. Like, they don't actually set up the objective like teams like Domino T1 do. They just say, okay, you know, they're not walking into our face checks. Just flip it. We'll run into him. We'll get the smite. And if not, then good luck, Ruler.
And honestly, that was so close to just being impossible for him to smite. He actually had a max range smite on the Baron to be able to get that. And Blabber wasn't able to get his off because the kick travel time, he's literally in the air when he lands the smite. So if a little bit less damage is on the Baron, he's out of range. If he smites a little bit later, he's out of range. And Cloud9 probably win the game.
Yeah, same thing on that Soul, right? It was milliseconds away from being executed by the Ziggs ult itself. But either way, he comes up big 2 times in a row on the smite to bring game 1 into Gen G's corner. Game 2, though, is coming up right after this. First, let's take a look back at Cloud9's comeback in the group of death in Sounds of the Game, presented by Bose.
I killed Kiana. Bot. Yeah. Look at Draven here. I can lifesteal as well. Look, I'm coming. I got him. He's dead.
Coming. And bot.
Let's in.
Oh, the first dub, guys.
All right, we're making it out, boys.
Yes, I'm not 0-12 in Worlds.
Woo! All right, good guys.
The greatest comeback the NA has ever seen.
NA's making it out.
Flash now.
I'm gonna go in. Nice. Guys again.
I'm out of range. Don't me.
Just kill Rumble. Guys.
Anyone with DPM?
Guys again. Nice.
Yeah!
Nice.
Woo! It's the NA Vic 2, baby.
Nice. I'm looking for the rest. Oh, here, look. Coming.
What? Kill off.
Yeah, kill off.
I'm dead.
Think it's okay?
Tap back if possible.
No,
Look.
Kill this. We win.
The base.
Look at Jhin.
The base, TP someone if you can. Just cancel his base. I'll just kill Jhin. Just go.
Nice.
Yeah! No! Man, I didn't keep correctly. That was L9.
Wow,
we are all joking. Everybody's joking. It's a joke fest. But NMX is our group.
North America.
Oh, that was cringe.
Oh,
that was the most. That was the time.
Make or break. Make it yours.
Welcome to the world, no heroes and villains. Welcome to the war, we've only begun. So pick up your weapon and face it. There's blood on the ground, go and take it. You get one shot to make it out alive. So higher and higher you chase it. It's deep in your bones, go and take it. This is your moment. Now is your time, so prove yourself and rise. Make them remember you. Push through and rise. They will remember
Welcome back to Worlds 2021. We witnessed a back-and-forth slugfest, and while Gen G were in control for the vast majority of that game, Cloud9 did their best to fight back before Gen G ultimately took Game 1. Now, what will Cloud9 adjust? How can they adapt coming into the next game in this series? That is the question on our mind as we head into picks and bans for Game 2.
Yeah, definitely a lot of risks taken pretty early on in the draft in game number 1 here by Cloud9. Getting some information gathered, I have to say, you know, big props to BDD for the Aatrox pick and starting out some of the early advantages for the team that they were able to snowball.
Yeah, C9 have chosen blue side. Gen G are going to stick to the bans. LeBlanc, TF coming in, expecting an Irelia ban, but now C9 get first choice of bot lane. We saw them run the Ziggs, but with Aphelios and Nami down, that spells an MF first pick.
Banning way for jungle there too, banning the Jarvan. No possible answer this time around. Kennen plus the Jace both left open, so if they don't hard commit to so much AD and so much all-in early, still have that blindable.
There's the MF. C9 gonna lock that one in. Irelia is up. Gen G did ban that last time around. Maybe Perkz fancies it. Maybe Gen G wanna opt into it, but they're gonna have to match bot lane for now, you'd expect. And still a lot of OPs up and available. Lee Sin. I think C9 probably wanna prioritize that if Gen G don't take it away, and it looks like they are.
With the Jarvan taking out the board, Clid running out of picks that generally we look at as Clid comfort picks. The Lee Sin, certainly one of them, has now opted to go for that. Alongside Rascal picking the Rakan, a ton of playmaking and engage potential already on this Gen G lineup.
That spells Leona as well, doesn't it, for C9, you'd imagine?
Or Nautilus.
Yeah, MF Leona, MF Nautilus into the Rakan, match jungle. Maybe Blabber wants to go into Xin Zhao. Maybe Leona Xin Zhao could come out here unless they want to early rotate the Irelia.
I think it's just such a positive duo to roam around the map looking for kills too. You can open up Vulcan. You saw his roaming percentage pop up in the last game. Definitely has been one to try and move early.
Ooh, Poppy we've seen have a lot of success at Worlds here.
And it's so good into everything showing from Gen G. Both Lee Sin and the Rakan, super good at shutting down some of these engages. Allows them to play the front line there.
So now it's solo lanes for both teams. Ruler going to pick up Jhin because if he goes 4-5 with AD carry, that's going to be a lot of AD carries banned. If they take away Jhin Kai'Sa, he's going to be forced on things like Ezreal, which is not what you want to do. Mid lane still being targeted here from both these teams. C9, you'd imagine, are going to blind pick mid and top, of course. Gen G probably saving last pick for top lane.
Okay. Have to debate what the options are going to be, but interesting to see the Jhin now locked in for Ruler. Last game, he was the star of the show in the final minutes, did very well in the laning phase alongside Life, but this is not the hyper carry that we are used to seeing him on. Much more utility he's going to need to look to enable the other members on his team.
Well, continuing on with the solo lane bans here, though, because it is going to have to be probably you know, either BDD snatching up one of his champions or Rascal showing early on the blind for Gen G. So they're deciding between, do we further whittle down on BDD or do we cover our bases? Since Jace is banned out, you kind of have to take away the Kennen.
Ooh, there's a Graves, maybe Syndra Graves, I think, are what Gen G might be looking at because they banned Jace Irelia, a really good response from C9 to ban out Kennen, because those two champions do well into the champion, so maybe that's something they want to fourth pick because then C9 don't have a response, but Graves picked up. That's going to be a Malphite Sylas insta-lock for C9.
Yeah, and they've put Fudge back on Malphite duty here. They have had pretty good success here in the LCS with this rotation. Plus, they're expecting either the Zoe or the Syndra to come out for BDD.
You're completely right. There it is. Syndra picked up. And the reason I like this Malphite pick is because you see the enemy top laner and they have Jhin, Lee Sin, Graves. Not very good tank killers. Jhin especially not a great tank killer. So the Malphite will get a lot of value here as the only AP damage is to Syndra. So it feels like C9 have drafted a composition really to shut Gen G's down.
It's completely different than game number 1 opening draft here from Cloud9. I like the adjustment from the coaching staff. Playing the full best of 5, you get opportunities to test out which angle you want to go for. Last time, so much more all in, so much more one-dimensional. This one has a lot more robust mid-game team fighting, a lot of answers here to what Gen G are talking about. And to your point about Syndra, she's also very much single target burst, going to look for those stuns onto the Misfortune and try and get your ult out. So Malphite probably won't even be taking much chip damage from this champion.
Yeah, when you look at both drafts, C9 have great team fight. The problem is their lanes will be getting pushed in, right? Sylas and Malphite will be getting pushed in versus the Graves and versus the Syndra. So if Gen G can't find early leads, I feel like Cloud9's team fighting is just so one-dimensional, so simple that they should come out ahead if they get good setup around objectives.
But I absolutely love the adjustment. Complete shift, as you already highlighted. Now they are the team that needs to weather the storm. We know Gen G has a strong early game. Can they make big leads? Can they press their advantages? So much CC, so much setup. Can they make it work in the early game? Because when this Malphite gets going, when this Poppy gets going, when there's a Sylas in the mid lane taking away ults, you know Cloud9 have the tools that they need to come out on top in these team fights.
Yep, they've got Poppy to try and play bouncer to the Rakan, to the engage of Gen G for later. Create some space for Misfortune to be able to channel ultimate. And probably the biggest threatening thing to the Misfortune going to be that long-range Syndra stun.
And just like you talked about, Kobe, the Syndra is so kind of single target damage champion. All of Gen G are very single target damage champions. If they can get the kill onto Malphite or Poppy and start to move forwards, they will win the fight. But C9 have so much zone control with Malphite ultimate, Poppy knockaways, Sylas taking away, Rakan ultimates, MF Leona. There's so many ways that they can control zones around these objectives. So Gen G have to be careful, but if they can pick the right target and move forward slowly, then there is a world where they can start to contest despite not having setup.
I wonder too if both of them are going to start topside, because Klid definitely has a clear path to try and make plays off of Rakan Jhin. So much setup for him down there, and Leona generally trying to play it super aggressively as well. Being a typical pretty good answer to Rakan, trying to stun him as soon as he goes in. So Klid probably start red, head down towards bottom side, see if you can make any early pass at the Scuttle Crab, and if they can get the push.
Yeah, I feel like Gen G should have 3 lanes of push. Sven's not running the Comet, and I think Sylas and Malphite will get pushed in. Meelee's into ranged. So I imagine Gen G will have 3 pushing lanes. Maybe Blabber can just kind of mismatch what Klid is doing, but it looks like they're going to match, so Blabber should have an issue. He might have an issue trying to take away Scuttle Crabs. He might get double crab this game. We'll have to see what happens, but it's not the end of the world.
Since Klid is actually crossing now to blue quadrant start, he could easily just go for a big stack wave here on Malphite. Graves easily can control the wave here versus Fudge and really try and punish him. A lot of the times, yeah, you want to just easily pick Malphite into a lot of these AD matchups and soak up and weather the storm early on, but that can be a real opportunity for Gen G.
And that's how you naturally shut down Malphite in these lanes. Is you stack a big wave, you dive him level 3, level 4, you get his TP out, and then your top laner can consistently keep the push while having a TP advantage, right? The problem is their setup is not great for a dive. They have no lockdown CC, and Graves auto attacks can be dodged pretty easily, but we'll keep our eyes out for it.
Age Ruler going to get the 4th shot off, and immediately we're going to see Cloud9 stepping forward. Sven and Volkan going to back away. Much better early trades than in the previous game.
See if Blabber tries to early cross. Yeah, he's skipping his Krugs in order to get up to top quadrant early to try and ward for Fudge to allow him to at least see an advance if they do want to bring in the extra reinforcements for building on the wave and diving. Perks, of course, is going to get pushed in as well on the Sylas here, trying to trade your life for your minion wave constantly in the early stages here.
Yeah, Sylas naturally works by, if he wants to get the push past level 3, level 4, he has to trade his HP for it. And then he trades aggressively and catches the wave afterwards. Blabber could do a path here where he does blue wolves into bot crab and then make sure he doesn't get double crabbed here, but Fudge is really low. We talked about the early dives and the early stacking waves. Klid won't be in here in time, you imagine. Fudge is really low.
I also want to point out, since Klid is definitely going to continue farming here, not going to be the wave timing, that the deep ward that BDD put towards Raptors does still provide them that value, so they know if you try and make the play on top side, Poppy is there for a blocker, so be very careful about trying to set that one up, and Gen G not going to look for the risk. Crabs spawning now, though.
Yeah, Klid is hovering around mid. They have got good kill pressure. Syndra leads him. We saw Damwon run this exact same comp. Blabber is doing as we expected. He goes bot to top, but then he backtracks down to bot side because he knows Klid is getting this top grab. He has no mid, no top push, so he won't get double crabbed.
Blabber about to be spotted. Of course, no camps on the top side for Lee Sin to take, but can provide a little bit more pressure there. Blabber finally spotting out that ward, will opt to take it away. And of course, in the meantime, mid lane pressure being kept up in our Mercedes-Benz featured matchup. Perks and BDD can be the huge difference makers for both their team. For Perks now, though, he just has to survive, and that might be difficult if Klid comes over this. Whoa! Gets in!
Oh, he cancels it!
Cancels it! Is he gonna kill back? No! Klid just barely surviving.
Yeah, good timing on the stun there, knowing that the Lee Sin is going to take it in, but perfect stun from BDD, lining that one up as Perks tries to dash away, hits him through the line. First blood in the hands of Klid.
The wave is in such a good state here for Gen G. They could TP top if they have a good top wave and dive Fudge. BDD could use his TP top because they have a cannon wave, and they were pinging the cannon wave coming into top right now. We'll see if they do opt to go for it, but Perks had vision when Klid was showing. Does end up falling. Nice little try there. There's the TP top. BDD's going for it. They are going to go for the top dive. We don't see top wave, but it's probably stacking up. Fudge might just be dead here.
Yeah, he's definitely...
He has to flash the stun.
Hard for Graves to contribute in this exchange, and also gets knocked away from the tower. All too easy. Clean from BDD and Rascal.
Yeah, we talked about Gen G having these pushing lanes, and there it is. They get TP advantage mid, they transfer to top. Now Fudge will have to TP back top, and Rascal can save his TP. So this early game for Gen G with pushing lanes, they're playing it to perfection to get a lead.
And you know the whole time Cloud9 have to play catch up here. They're not going to have any extra resources to pull off those counter attacks that we saw Gen G do last time around when they were the ones with the extra security. So once again, we're in a game where extra global is in the hands of Gen G. and it's so difficult here for Cloud9 to try and play aggressively.
Look at the ward behind Sven and Vulcan. If they try to push this next wave in, they're going to get TP'd on by Rascal, so Gen G have so many tools to work with. C9's bot lane already kind of thinking about it, have to be careful. Rascal might just TP back top though, so C9 will get information.
Yeah, it's good communication until they get that extra global out and they know that there's no extra threat.
Now they go aggressive.
Trade back and forth. Vulcan's base would have gotten canceled anyway. So stepping away, but Ruler pushing forward. Both AD carries relatively low on mana. But Boots and 3 pots alongside a Biscuit means Ruler's sitting pretty comfortable here. He's going to get forced out the cleanse. Sven now getting aggressive. All he's got left is auto attacks. Like trying to find the disengage, but keeping Gen G's bot lane in lane for now.
Yeah, Sven tried to use the heal to gap close onto Ruler, but Ruler's running Fleet and Boots, so he got the move speed buff and just ran straight away. He has PTA, Sven, so he wants to look for these all-ins. Comet for the push, PTA for the all-ins. Again, BDD moving topside. Fudge is going to have to drop this wave, I think.
Fudge, so hard for him to survive in this context. Yes, the tower will block the auto attacks, but they're just collapsing. They're just denying waves. The Malphite's getting nothing.
It's the best way to play against Malphite. They're trying to get through the lane. You don't let them soak up any experience, any extra minions up there. It does mean bottom side, you have to overload as Cloud9. You see Poppy trying to do the same thing to the bottom lane of Gen G.
This hurts, doesn't it? Fudge can't even walk up. He has Spellbook, and you can see on the top left, he swapped to Exhaust. He fancied himself maybe a 1v2 on the tower with the Exhaust, but it's just a trade-off. Malphite's losing resources, Graves is getting ahead. Same thing on the bottom side. Gen G's bot lane is going to be forced to back off. But they're on a timer. It's a 2v2 if Blabber walks away.
And there's another timer here. The objective's not synced up on side of the map, so there's still extra time for Rift Herald to spawn. Meanwhile,
ulti goes in, stun connects, Clid with the follow-up. Easy follow-up. Clid grabbing another kill in the mid lane. BDD and Clid on fire.
BDD has Perks' number this game. Stun after stun. There's a reason he was in the music video.
I have to say, Gen G is playing beautifully through mid here. You see, Blabber is around, might find Clid, but Clid is level 6. He could just insta-kick him here.
Blabber trying to walk away from this one. Can't obviously deny the engage with the steadfast presence. So we'll just walk away there. But of course, BDD keeping pressure up in the mid lane. Perks with no TP means he's going to at least lose a little bit here. But the cannon means that he will be back just in time.
Yeah, Clid has been playing beautifully through mid. 2 times he's visited the lane, 2 times he's got a kill. And when he doesn't visit, he helps BDD move towards top to dive Fudge, to zone him away. So this early game, fantastic from Gen G.
And you have to remember, for Clid, this is personal. When he was on T1, got beat by Perks. When he was on T1 at Worlds, got beat by Perks. Last year in quarterfinals, beaten by Perks. He's getting a nice bit of revenge here in Game 2.
I want to focus, too, on BDD, because he's been such a big component of Gen G getting into this position. So many big victories with the Zoe, and when he first came into the LCK, he was heralded as the big challenger to Faker, and yet more recently it gets overshadowed by Showmaker, gets overshadowed by the rest of the big mid laners in LCK, and yet he's performing such a critical role for the team.
Yeah, 2016 he came in onto CJ Enters. Perks also started his debut in a major region in the LCS in 2016 as well. Both players been playing the same amount of time in their respective leagues. And just like you said, it feels like 2017, 2018, Kingzone was the kind of glory days for BDD, but he's making a statement here at Worlds 2021.
Now, though, to take a chance to look in on the map, 2K gold lead in favor of Gen G in this early game. Really the focus in the previous match. This time, still getting a little bit of attention, but it's the mid lane that has really been shut down by the side of Gen G. Sven did get a few tower plates, does get some gold back. He may need to be the member on the side of C9 to step up in this matchup.
Yeah, I think a big thing to take away right now is C9 have the Herald. They actually took it away from Gen G, so Blabber can use that on any lane he wishes, and bot tower has 3 plates left. So yes, Gen G have this topside pressure, but if Blabber can get towards bot, they should be able to get themselves first tower of the game for Sven, and that'll weather the gold lead a little bit. And obviously going into teamfights, we expect C9 to have more control, but Gen G are going to be a single target damage composition, and if they're ahead and they can take someone down and make it a 5v4 from the get-go, they will be favored. Clid still playing around mid.
Exactly. This is how the early stages are theoretically supposed to play out. Maybe not so many kills towards the mid lane, but you know, Cloud9 trying to weather the storm here till they can group up and have that dedicated front line. Until then, front line on top side of the map is kind of hung out to dry. Gen G, though, with a stop on bottom side, will be able to get this dragon even with vision.
Yeah, they saw Blabber on the top grab. They'll trade that for a Drake. Mid-wave being contested.
Oh, he jumps out.
Perks stolen ultimate. A lot of damage going down, but Perks will walk out alive.
They actually, Clid jumped out of the Dragon Pit to go further zone Sven here as they watched him walk back from the tower.
Yeah, Fudge has Exhaust. I think he needs to pop that on Rascal soon to get his TP back up, because that should be coming up soon, and he needs it if they're going to play towards the bot side of the map. Blabber basing will move out towards bot side to try and contest. this bot tier 1 with Herald. We'll see if Fudge uses it to make sure he can have that TP up and available. There it is. Does use it there, so we will have TP.
Perk's gonna get caught out, gonna get locked up. There's too much chain CC. He gets to push W, but very little else. Gen G with a clean kill.
River control for Gen G, and they find Perks again. Cloud9 have lost their chess piece in the middle. They have lost any authority going for, any type of teleport towards the bottom side of the map, and they continue to have to wait.
Yeah, Gen G just keep playing through mid, shutting down Perks. It means that they can control both side lanes. Yes, Fudge used Exhaust and swapped the TP, but they're focusing on Perks the whole game long. Feels like Klid's behind BDD on every single mid wave, and Life's always there to respond. Herald's just going to run out and be used in mid. Maybe Gen G could stick around and stop this from crashing, but BDD needs to base Yes TP. Klid is behind him. I think they can shut this Herald down. The wave's coming in. Perks no TP. Does arrive in time.
They do have support roam here for Vulcan. He's up at the wave, but this wave has to be cleared out pretty quickly as the reset from Gen G's bottom side is going. Ushering it up here to get the charge off.
Yep, should crash. A little bit of an awkward stare down there. As I say that, the eye gets hit. Klid has smite as well. They could full commit to this if they want to. There it is, the full commit.
To go it. Does not interrupt the dash in from the Poppy, and they take away the charge. That's 360 gold that Cloud9 are not going to get. And now Blabber, he's going to pay for it with his life. This is disaster for C9. Absolute dominance for Gen G.
This is just Gen G W after Gen G W. Smite kill on the Herald and taking down the jungler afterward. No smite, no flash used from Blabber to get out of there either, as Klid just jumped in on him.
Yeah, BDD and Klid are doing all the work Gen G need in this early game. Moving top to help Rascal out, making sure Life's unlocked on the map. Ruler's just catching waves and he's even in CS. The whole map is theirs once again, as we saw in game 1. Gen G winning out on this early game.
I mean, this is one of the things you really want to see from the side of Gen G, them being able to
BDD's TP again.
Pressure ahead with their advantages every time with the extra cooldown.
Fudge, ulti ignite, they have to play this one smart, but for now, BDD just zoning them away. Looks like they're gonna be happy with just the tower. Malphite going in with the ultimate, the ignite going down as well. Fudge, nice sidestep, but does not dodge the stun. Blabber now stepping forward, just trying to get something, anything back. Rascal, though, with the Immortal Shield Bow, makes it pretty easy for him to walk away from this one. The tower will live, but Fudge drops.
BDD is single-handedly carrying Gen G in this early game. Yes, Klid's made some great plays, but his wave control around mid, the resources Gen G are putting in him from jungle, he's just snowballing the top side of the map so perfectly.
It's the coordination. When you're handed so many advantages for the early game with all pushing lanes and the extra jungle pressure around mid actually opening up, and yeah, BDD set him up with all those stuns for the early kills, but he was there and everybody moving to complete on the play. Once again, more harassment on Perks.
Klid getting aggressive. Looks like he fancies himself a 1v1. Perks just going to kick him right back out. Sonic Wave will not reconnect. There'd be no re-engage there.
Now, eyes for the next play. They have the teleport ready from Rascal as well to be able to answer. 2 minutes left on Mountain Dragon to spawn. And they've actually finished up on the bottom side with both Gale Forces as well. So plenty of CC coming through. Life starting to roam with Klid. Ultimate available pretty quickly here. And the flash.
The good thing for Gen G is top will win in isolation. C9 have to play bot side. It's the only real winning lane that they have. They need to play through mid though, and Gen G are shutting that down, taking away their bot side jungle. Top will win in isolation. Rascal 2 levels up. C9 need to force Gen G out.
And the thing is, because they're winning topside so hard, they also can teleport first there with Rascal, because there's no Malphite ultimate, so there's no way for him to stop a teleport, stop an extra play, and they just get wins on both sides.
Cloud9 being bled out of this game. This is a 6K gold lead, rather 5K gold lead at 14 minutes into the game. Tower plates will fall as Gen G find themselves with a massive, massive advantage. In the previous game, Cloud9, they found a mid-game skirmish. They found a way to come back. They're going to need to dig even deeper here in game 2 to get back into this one.
And look what Rascal's doing. He's repaying the favor to BDD. All he's going to do now is push in top and move towards mid, so Perks has to play even more scared, take away camps, get deep vision as to where Blabber is, so that unlocks the rest of the map. So this top tower falling, Rascal in isolation can just keep pushing and controlling the whole map.
They're literally taking everything from Cloud9. They're pillaging the jungle, taking the towers, taking the dragons. 45 seconds left on this one. As you're talking about Rascal with the extra deep vision here, he can push another wave. First move, it's an absolutely dominating performance.
He's almost 3K gold up in 14 minutes.
And gentlemen, this is so important for the side of Gen G. because they have not been a team that has performed in quarterfinals. They have not been a team that's performed internationally in best of 5. But game 1 and now in game 2, they're looking dominant. Redemption is what we heard from the desk at the start of the day. Redemption for Gen G, and while they're not there yet, this is a damn fine start.
Yeah, we thought Gen G would win the early game, and they did, but they're winning it way harder than you expected. I think C9 have to start doing something soon, otherwise they're going to get bled out. These towers are going to start to fall, mid tower will fall, and C9 needs to start contesting objectives. You can see they have some kind of setup around the bot side of the map. Blabber might start up that dragon, and Fudge has TP and ult up available now, so we'll see what C9 opt to do, but Rascal's just soloing this Herald.
No, the eye is gonna, nope, not gonna open. There you go, got it down. Is he gonna just take it away? Who actually got that?
Rascal got it, I believe. We'll get the buff as well.
All right,
so
walk him away.
They can pop that mid right away and then run to Dragon as well. It feels like the stars are lining here for Gen G. They're playing so well, so coordinated.
Fudge moving back to top side. He does have teleport available, but there's not really any good wards to teleport in on. So again, Cloud9 have to cede control of the map.
So massive now for Gen G. Absolute control, moving down again, taking every single objective.
They have to give up on this dragon for sure. Look at this. Gen G are even not going to overextend resources. They won't even let Fudge push up to the tower. They send Rascal immediately back to top side. You have full control. Go collect the wave. Get the dragon as well.
And to add salt to the wound, Rascal saved Herald. So if C9 overcommit and Fudge TPs towards bot, Rascal can pop Herald top and get a tier 2 for himself and keep snowballing this 1v1 matchup, which will be isolated over side. And Gen G, all they need to do now is crack open bot tier 1. We'll see how they choose to do it, but BDD has TP. He can TP on that ward Clid just put down, but it looks like with life in base and Rascal just catching top waves, they're just going to slow it down a bit and wait for bases to come in.
What can Cloud9 do? They've got flash ready on Fudge too. Sometimes, you know, in the later stages, it's hard to get your Malphite ults off actually, so it's important when you do have flash to be able to go for the flash one so your opponents can't react to it. And they're going to rely on him plus Leona finding some big engage to turn the tables in this game, because Gen G are just running away with it.
And Fudge is going to be strong if we go late enough in this game. Lord Dominic's certainly going to make it very difficult, as Rascal has that at 16 minutes, but full armor against 380 sources on the opposite side. He'll be tanky, he will hit hard, but he just has to survive. They can't afford to fall any further behind. But saying that, Gen G, total control of the map, continuing to push their vision line forward, continuing to push out their side lanes. And the only thing Gen G are sad about right now is the fact that Baron is not up and available. Sven is going to Gale Force out. The Charm's still going to connect, but the knock will miss, and that is crucial.
The big thing for Gen G is don't make a mistake. Don't give C9 a 5v5. Don't give them a numbers advantage fight. Just make sure you control all waves, keep them all pushed in. Don't overextend and play for dragons. They're going to keep double side control. Here's the double TP from C9. Can they find anything? This is a miracle play if they can.
Blabber trying to fish for something, but the flash out takes him to safety. Fudge looking for an opportunity. Clid waiting in the darkness, can't go back for the kick, is going to focus, kicking the Poppy back into the team, trying to delete it before the fight even starts. Fudge not even a chance to ultimate quite yet. Sven's ulti really not hitting anybody. Perks now set to fall. A bit of a heal now coming out, trying to walk away with the snare. Can they turn it back? Yes. Clid now down. They're running away. They're trying to fight into the pinch. Fudge waiting at his opportunity, but he runs away with the ult and dies to the Syndra anyway. Sven has to run for his life. Gen G in total control.
And they've got Rift Herald. That means you can immediately activate it. Just pin down Vulcan. Nowhere for him to go. That's going to be 2 on the bottom side.
Yeah, that's going to be 2 towers as well. You expect C9's dead, no TPs. That was the last real stand play that they had to stop Gen G's siege on all towers. And we saw how Gen G just picked them off one by one, isolating Blabber first and then Perks. Yes, Clid died, but a 4-for-1 and 2 towers.
I mean, with the extra vision coverage, that control ward in Tri-Brush for Clid to just sit on, waiting as Cloud9 come walking back and just kicking Blabber right in to the first bullet from Ruler, and they burst him down, make him look like a squishy champion.
They're going to take away his red as well. Maybe Rascal can burst it with BDD before it resets. There it is. Blabber is left with nothing.
And game 1 was close. It was back and forth. There were opportunities for C9. It came down to final objectives, but this game is a slaughter. Gen G, 8K in the lead, double dragons. Damn close to a perfect game outside of a tower and a kill.
Yeah, and Gen G read the play very well. They see the double TP coming in, and they just respond instantly.
Oh, that thought. Clid now kicking off, now immediately going back into Vulcan, trying to find these isolated picks. If they take down Vulcan, maybe they get a little bit more. Ruler now stepping forward. Easy now for Gen G.
This is a stomp from Gen G. C9 need to do something fast, because this Dragon Soul is going to go in around 6-7 minutes time, and Gen G are just going to keep them in their base for the rest of the game.
There's no teleport on Rascal, so while they did lose Vulcan, they were fishing around for a possible pick there. Maybe they could make something happen and get some gold back, but it's just so dangerous to set up any sort of play for Cloud9. And with Baron coming onto the map pretty shortly here, it's going to be another tool for Gen G to pull them across with. Since they got 2 towers on bottom side with that Rift Herald, it's wide open for split push.
2v2 top side. C9 not wanting to fully commit to the fight. They don't have the information they need to feel confident.
It's so easy for Gen G just to return to bot side split push. Even without a teleport, they don't even have to worry about the cross-map play there from Cloud9 since they have such deep vision coverage and so much control. Nobody can solo answer Rascal. So from the Cloud9 side, it has to be throw members at a pick somewhere, try and just throw bodies at the problem.
Yeah, indeed. Rascal is the biggest problem for C9 right now. I feel like he's in a control sideways. I think he can even 1v2 Perks and Fudge at this point.
I mean, it's a terrifying prospect. We're at the stage of the game where, short of absolute disaster for Gen G, there are no winning choices for Cloud9. You will always be taking losing trades, but the right losing trades maybe can give you enough time to scale up later in the game, buy time to survive, to look for that team fight.
All right, let's change notes here then. I've heard tales of something about a 0-2 power spike. Where does that originate?
Perks comfort zone?
The Perks comfort zone? Yeah, we're on track. We've got Perks randomly dying. We've got Perks dying on side lane. We are
Blabber!
Z9 fan for a power spike, and this might just be it. Perks now going in. They've taken down BDD, and Kobe, ask, and you shall receive.
And Dragon spawning now as well, so 40 seconds on BDD. He does have TP available when he respawns. Can C9 take away this Dragon? It looks like they have no setup towards the bot side, and they face check Rascal. They will die. So a pick's a pick, but Gen G still on the map. I believe the most recent memory I can remember of Perks' comfort zone was against Fnatic, where they just reverse swept them.
It's going to take a lot. They're going to have to dig deep if they want to come back in this game, let alone this series. For now, Gen G, even after that pick, remain comfortably in the driver's seat. 3 Dragons poised in 5 minutes to take the soul. Cloud9, you got to be strong enough to fight for that one in 5 minutes. That might just be the last chance you get.
Does Rascal have an Infinity Edge in base? I think, oh, no, he has Bloodthirster. He's unkillable.
It's so hard to go. You mentioned the possibilities of 2v1ing as Graves. Those are real for Rascal here, and his teleport is coming back up, so that split push has so much more power behind it because there's no answer there from Cloud9. So sometimes you'll see people trailing the split pusher. Here's the Axe effect replay where you can see them, no hesitation, into BDD, into the wall, able to get a little bit of gold back for themselves.
They need to do that again. They need to do it multiple times. Ruler dashes away. Tipple's coming in.
Side, they've managed to catch out Sven before the fight even kicks off. Click in and finish that one. Perks now going forward, but can Cloud9 get one back in return? Ruler still standing. Ruler running. He's just so fast. Fudge now locked up, denying him anything back in return, but Perks zooming forward. He's going to finish off the 80 carry. BDD under the tower. Cloud9 fighting. They don't have the resources, but they're trying to make it work anyway. Perks goes gold and wants to heal back up. Blabber trying to knock that back. Perks stepping forward onto BDD. Instead, we'll find Rakan. That's the double for Perks. Has he held on long enough? Clid now coming. Perks needs to make it out, needs to hightail. Slowly but surely, Gen G winning this fight. They've just got too much of a lead for Cloud9 to find it.
That is gonna be it. Gen G are gonna wipe them off the map and take the Baron, Kadril.
Oh, it's an ace. 2 for 5. Perks tried his best on the backside. So many cool mechanical plays, but I think the MVP of that fight there is Clid. Singles out Sven before he can even join the fight, and then comes in and cleans up for Gen G. That's gonna be a Baron, and I think, oh, C9, 3 minutes on the Infernal Soul. That's their last chance to fight.
Exactly. In late, I say late game situations, this is mid game situations where you have such a big lead. You know that your opponent will be looking around for these types of pick plays, and since they just picked BDD off here, and they have that deep ward through the jungle, they see Sven walking up, so Life and Clid picks him off on the roam, and the teleports come to answer.
Yeah, it's already a 4v5. Ruler actually lives through a lot of the burst, and then it turns into a 3v5. Perks actually miraculously takes down Ruler here with his flash, and then does take down another member straight afterwards, so they at least get 2 kills for themselves, but there's just too much firepower. They're just hitting them with their wallets, and C9 have to run for the hills. Perks, like we said, 2 kills, but that's all they got.
Yeah, in those scenarios, since Cloud9 are so far behind, they have to try and take the opportunity, jump on it so they full commit to it. But with that super deep ward by the Wolves, they did see it trailing through, and good job there by Gen G to recognize. Teleports defended, picking off Sven as he's walking up to it, defended, and now you're in this scenario where Baron buff allows them.
No flash BDD.
Again, isolated. Fudge over the wall, right under Ruler, trying to split up the team by BDD. Is he going to get knocked out from this one? For now, knocking 2 members away. Maybe they have the main advantage to kick things off, but Cloud9 just taking this opportunity to walk away because there's a Graves pushing in on the top side. Nobody can stop Rascal.
Yeah, Fudge finds the ultimate onto Ruler, but there is no damage follow-up. They can't kill him.
BDD's stopwatch was phenomenal. I think Blabber looked for the E, but he stopwatched before it connected, so he didn't get stunned. And by that time, C9 ran out of gas to actually take him down. So that's it. Fudge has the ultimate. Neither does Blabber, neither does Vulcan.
Men locked up, kicked back. Gen.G marching down mid lane. Members of C9 will not be enough to stop them as Radical keeps the push up on the top side of the map. They want at least 2 inhibitors. They might just look for the end.
Yeah, they have a top wave coming in. The safe option is just to take this top inhib base and then set up for the soul, set up for the bot tier 3. Or they could look to end. The problem is Sven's alive in 20, and you don't want to throw this game away. If you do die and lose away the Infernal Soul, then it's just going to be more time for C9, but Gen.G are so far ahead, maybe they want to force it anyway.
The lead is massive. Fury insurmountable, maybe, just maybe. Fudge, no ultimate, no flash, though. Cloud9 just have to stand under their own towers and watch the game fall away from them. Gen.G poised on the cusp of match point. Can they bring it out? Can they get a little bit more? Vulcan taking down Blabber, trying to hold on. Perks has a stolen Syndrome, but it's just not going to be enough. Sven with 2 items will not be able to do anything in this exchange. Curtain calls come out as now Gen.G advance to match point.
Wow, what a statement game from Gen.G. I even thought their base there just played a little bit safe in this best of 5, but no, they can just run it down and end the game. C9, nothing is working right now.
Yeah, that one start to finish here was played so well by Gen.G. You mentioned at each step, the extra cooldown, they then make the play with it, build the minion wave, punish this Malphite, rotate through mid lane, and so many plays on mid set up by BDD Syndra. He lands the stun, Glid is there, they finish the kill, and while Ruler is the only world champion left on this organization, I'm so happy for BDD playing this well. You know, he has not gotten past the quarterfinals at Worlds. This would be so huge for him.
This would be massive for BDD to get to the semifinals of Worlds, and I think that everything C9's throwing at Gen.G, they're responding and they're winning every early game. C9 tried to draft early game, Gen.G win on the top side early game. C9 tried to draft kind of late game, mid game, scaling team fight. Gen.G punished them in the early game again.
Gen.G on the road to redemption, continuously looking better as we go further. Will Game 3 be even more one-sided, or can Cloud9 come back? That's going to be the question on our mind. Though, Arcane, Riot's first animated series, is coming to Netflix November 6th. It's set in the utopian region of Piltover in the impressed underground of Zaun. The story follows the origins of 2 iconic League champions and the power that will tear them apart. Let's check out this brand new trailer while we head to a commercial break.
Lovely.
This city was founded to be a bastion of enlightenment. But we have lost our way. We've traded honor for prestige. We were once one tribe. Now we are houses divided.
All my life, the Undercity had nothing. What bore us through those times? Loyalty. All of us back to back against whatever the world threw at us.
We share a vision. A dream of freedom.
I didn't order any pizza.
Jake from State Farm. After you saved me so much dough on insurance with that Parker promo, I devised a promo for you.
Here's the deal, Parker. State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
Yeah, right. Pepperoni pockets, an atomic brownie, cuckoo crusty.
There's no promo, it's just great rates.
And a cider ranch. You're the man.
When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Red Bull gives you wings.
top again, now what? Belay the crown, but count us higher than a mountain. And we be up here for the long run, strap in for a long one. We got everybody on one. Now you coming at the king, so you better not miss. And we only get stronger with everything I carry up on my back. You should paint it up with a target. Why would you dare me to do it again? Come get your spoiler, but we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, look at you coming, my name, you ought to know by now that we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, maybe you wonder what your future's gonna be, but I got it all locked up. Take a lap now, don't be mad now. Run it back, run it back. I got bodies lining up, think you're dreaming of greatness. Send you back home, let you wake up. Why would you dare me to do it again? Come and get your spoiler up ahead. We're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, look at you coming, my name, you ought to know by now that we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, maybe you wonder what your future's gonna be, but I got it all locked up.
在以后，除了是傻子，还有其他吗？我左右，键盘琵琶在时间滴答着，还不够。你的固执让我来守候，哪怕太迟也不想以后。就在这时放肆的打斗。I got the heart of a lion, I know the harder you climb, the harder you fall. I'm at the top of the mountain, too many bodies to count. I've been through it all. I had to weather the storm to get to the level I'm on. That's how the legend.
Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk, where the series score currently stands at 2-0 in favor of Gen G, and they do it in Game 2 even more dominantly than they did it in Game 1. And when I think about where the win came from in this second game, I think we look no further than our featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz. Perks versus BDD. BDD on the Syndra into the Silas, and he just took Perks to school.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this was just a straight-up outplay. Like, I actually like Cloud9's draft better. I don't think that they did anything egregious as far as the mistakes, but I think that BDD and Clid played so well together, BDD getting Perks low, setting up for these ganks, and then snowballing the game perfectly by forcing out the TP from mid because they get this kill, that he TP's top, they kill Fudge, he goes back again, they're zoning him off the tower. Like, that, to me, was where the game was over. You know, it almost takes a miracle at that point to be able to get back into it.
And Chronicler, I think this goes to the point we made at the top of the day, that BDD has been the most consistent and reliable factor in this tournament for Gen G. And once again, here in Game 2, he steps up and delivers.
It's really special, and of course we're not there yet, but even these two games are so much more akin to what this player has shown us so many times in the regular split on this team, and it's just been such a consistent issue for them to actually have this performance in high stakes scenarios. So this is very different from, you know, if you look at the other performances from the LCK that we've seen thus far, T1 and Domin in particular. For those teams, it's a lot more expected, right? But I really want to highlight again, like, what you're seeing here from Gen G is how we always knew they could play, but they just always seem to be unable to when the pressure is really there. And to see them actually play like the team that we've seen them be so many times in the regular split is a really big improvement for them.
And this mid lane and jungle domination that Azael pointed out, Freak, was taken across the map. And I think while it's going to look ugly for a player like Fudge in terms of the CS differential and the amount of times he was dove, once the middle lane, the middle of the map collapses, there's really nothing left for a Malphite to do.
Right, and that's like the intent of the draft, right? Is, okay, we have a good jungle matchup where we can stymie a lot of Lee Sin plays. We have Malphite where, like, yeah, he's going to go on CS, but he's going to be a good team fighter. He's there to be an armor tank against, like, a mostly AD team. He's going to screw over a Jhin. He's going to screw over a Graves late game. Like, that's all going to be fine. But the mid lane pressure valve is what the important thing is. And as you mentioned, like, the draft looks fine. Like, Sylas Syndra is a solid matchup. Poppy's very favored in Lee Sin, theoretically. Like, this can really, really work out until you're a better player. Like, it's very slightly favored, but, like, better play beats that matchup every time, and that's what BDD had. And so, okay, well, you meant to have an equal mid lane and an equal jungle where nothing happens? Nah, sorry, the 2-on-2 is over, which means we send it to one side. They choose to send it top side because, yeah, he's going to have early pressure, and now the game is snowballed because 3 lanes are losing way too hard.
And honestly, Malphite is really weak in the early levels, so you kind of have to get post 6 to be able to defend against these dives, and Gen G knew that. So once mid is blown open, once you have TP advantage there, it's so easy to then snowball through top, and I just think Gen G did such an intelligent job of punishing what was Cloud9 drafting scaling picks, right? They drafted for better 5v5. They drafted for better late game. Gen G never gave them even a chance to get there.
I mean, we're going to roll through a couple more of the plays that brought Gen G to victory here in game number 2. But, the major difference between 1 and 2 was first, how much bigger of an early game lead they had, and then Chronicler, how much cleaner they were able to close this one out with that lead, which I think just makes things ultimately that much scarier as we look at Cloud9 needing to pull off a reverse sweep if they want a shot at the semis.
Yeah, because as I pointed out previously, it's not that common for Gen G to maintain this form, and I think that they saw that first series, they got caught off guard a couple of times, and you still see some remnants of it here in this game, right? You see BDD getting caught out by the top side, and I think that those picks served C9 very well. But overall, Gen G very clearly knows what C9 is trying to do at most points of the game, and then even here, like, they read them like a book, right? By the time the display actually starts to come through, Ruler survives for an incredibly long amount of time, and we talk about BDD, we talk about Klid, but even Rascal and Ruler look so much better, right? Like Rascal, yes, he is enabled by the rest of his team, but he did put pressure on that lane individually from the get-go. Ruler, also very happy to take the backseat. And yeah, that's BDD Syndra. That's what it does. There's
BDD,
a reason, right? Well,
yeah, his Syndra did almost as much damage as the entire Cloud9 comp combined.
That's teamwork, Dash.
It is. So the way I see the series going is whoever wins game 3 wins the series, which is easy to say when you've had a couple of stomps, but essentially every time Gen G wins a series, they win it 3-0. They're a class above, they're the better team, and they just clap. When it goes back and forth, they have always failed by the time game 4 and 5 comes around. So if C9 pulls something out, I think they hold that form, or Gen G claps like they did in game 2.
All right, so Azael, Freak just promised us a Cloud9 victory if they win game 3. So all I need you to do is coach us to a victory here in game number 3 on blue side. What's the answer?
It's so hard, to be honest, because game 1 was basically just like a burger flip at Baron, right, that they lost out on. Game 2, they got absolutely stomped. I think at the end of the day, you just have to play better. I don't think that there's like one specific thing that you can actually point to. I think Vulcan's been having an off series. Perks is getting outclassed by BDD. And, at the end of the day, you just have to show up.
You are now the second analyst in the quarterfinals to tell me that the answer is just to play better. So there must be something to it. We'll be right back for Gen G's match point. But first, let's get some insight from the players on Worlds 2021 so far, rather, thanks to our friends at Oppo.
The team that surprised me the most is probably FPX, mainly because I expected them to be very good, but they actually turned out to falter at the end, so definitely FPX is the most surprising to me.
가장 까다로운 상대는 담원이라 생각하고, 왜냐하면 저희가 썸머에서도 결승에서 한번 졌었기 때문에 담원이 가장 어려운 상대일 것 같습니다.
To hold our heads up high and beat the drum to what we love. Risk the following.
Welcome back to Worlds 2021. Smiles on the faces of C9 as they take back to the stage. Important they come in with a good mood because this could very well be their last game on stage. Match point at the moment for Gen G.
I mean, yes, the 0-2 comfort zone is a meme, but Cloud9 as an organization, they have always relied on memes. Memes is Cloud9's greatest strength.
They tweeted like, "There's no way Cloud9 comes back from a 0-2 deficit." No, but Gen G are looking dominant in this series. C9 really have to pull something out.
And sadly, Kobe's analysis there with memes is highly indicative of what we learned in the previous game, was that Gen G are very, very good. And you heard Azeo on the desk just play better. This is the moment where we need to see a transformation from Cloud9. It's not as simple as play better in this area, play better in that area, focus more on this player, change this about draft. We need to see a full rehaul of what Cloud9 are bringing to the table so they can go toe-to-toe with Gen G.
I think stay true to what made you the most dominant when you are at your peak for Cloud9. And that was in spring season. They were such an aggressive team, pick a hard-winning jungle mid, go for some early plays, control the map, especially focus a bit there on top side, try and get an early Rift Herald and play into your strengths. They're definitely having a good time though. The mentality's got to be reset.
Yeah, because for Gen G, you're not going to change anything up. You're going to keep the same bans. You're going to ban away TF and LeBlanc. There it is, straight away. Banned away. Same kind of draft coming in, except C9 banning the Aurelia. You have two options when your back's against the wall like this. You go back to Comfort, something you've always really enjoyed and you always feel comfortable on, or something that you haven't played yet on stage, which might be the spanner in the works to change up the game. But very similar draft from game 2. C9 picking blue side, and taking away the MF. Yeah, Rakan Lee Sin response.
Exactly, 1-2, Rakan Lee Sin again here for Gen G. It's just, yeah, run it back, play better, just play better. Changing the top side though, we want the Graves.
Yeah, we have Fudge on Graves, should get the push, can be flexed. But I don't really want to see that champ go into jungle. We saw Mad Lions flex the Graves into jungle. Doesn't give as much playmaking as you might want, but Gen G running back the exact same kind of thing. Expect C9 to ban away things like the Azir and Syndra, and Gen G may be looking to target mid lane as well.
And the Syndra ban is the key to Cloud9 feeling comfortable running back the strategy, not just the Graves takeaway, but the fact that you can limit the strength of the mid-jungle duo that was so prevalent in Game 2, Clit and BDD, making the big impact in that early game to snowball that lead so incredibly quickly. Olaf now banned away, limiting some of the potential picks here for Blabber.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm more curious to see what they're going to put Blabber on for this team, because so goes Blabber, so goes Cloud9 usually, and I think it's intelligent here for Gen G to target him. The Xin would be a follow-up. If you ban Olaf, you got to ban that one as well to further push him down.
So it looks like C9 just targeting AP top laners. Kennen, of course, want to avoid that matchup into Graves, and there's the Azir ban as we expected. So Gen G have 4th pick, obviously going to match top here, you'd expect. Maybe we see Rascal go back things like the Renekton or maybe some kind of Comfort.
We have to assume, though, with the way the draft has gone, with no Syndra ban coming out, that C9 feel comfortable with whatever answer they have up their sleeve if Gen G do opt to blind pick their mid laner. Instead, it looks like we might see the response to the Graves here. Would make sense to match the Graves with a pick early on, but Renekton, while it is comfort for Rascal, isn't the strongest pick in the meta at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. It's more so comfort that Rascal's leaning towards here. Renekton Lee Sin into Graves. It has good setup, of course, because it has a stun, but it might struggle. Does Perkz want to take away Syndra here? Because I feel like Syndra Lee Sin is such a strong mid jungle. We'll see if he does want to opt into that, because it gives him some push, it gives him some playmaking, and maybe alongside a strong early game jungler, they can find something on the map.
Plus, then if you have the response Zoe from BDD on the other side, it's a good matchup for him there. So he does throw it down early. We'll see if BDD actually has any trick cards in his pocket, though.
So maybe they are expecting a Zoe. I feel like Sylas here or something along those lines, or a Kali, some kind of mobile champ would be better here for BDD, because you're playing against Syndra Jarvan. The Jarvan only really negates the Jhin, but it looks like you're right, Kobe. They're just going to go towards Comfort again. BDD Zoe, we've seen what it can do when it's unleashed on the map with 2 items, just hitting bubbles left and right against TL, and that's going to get locked in.
Don't go recalling next to your tower. Take the extra couple of steps to walk into safety when you're playing against this champion. BDD Zoe has been magnificent so far here at Worlds. Remember also all the solo kills on Icon in the group stage.
And these comps, Gen G, it's just pure comfort, isn't it? Ruler on Jhin, BDD on Zoe, Rascal and Clit on their favorite champions. And then C9 have swapped it up a little bit. What they've done, instead of going heavy early game or heavy scaling from game 1 and 2, they've got a little bit of both, right? They have pushing top and pushing mid, and they have good teamfight as well, so a little bit more tools to work with early to mid game.
Yeah, I think it's ton more tools. Like the map went from no pushing lanes, no control anywhere, not a proactive jungler, to completely the opposite here.
I do worry a little bit for Blabber though, because that jungle matchup is very Lee Sin favored in the 1v1, so it'll all come down to 2v2s. We've seen what they can do around mid, Gen.G, Clid and BDD playing for mid jungle. I think Blabber needs to start matching this and playing more with perks.
And I think as well, the early attempt at level 1 at getting that vision so that you can actually play opposite side as the Jarvan and go for the gank instead and not have Lee Sin there maybe could be the play.
Now it is time though. Cloud9, it is do or die. It is make or break. Gen.G, can they snowball through? Will comfort reign supreme in this draft in game 3 as we get ready for match point, as we get ready for potentially Cloud9's final game on the world stage in 2021. The pressure mounts now as their backs are against the wall.
And Gen.G have looked unstoppable in this top side of the map, but just as we talked about, Syndra, Jarvan, Graves, Cloud9 have some kind of tools to negate it, but they need to make sure they're very wary of teleports, right? Push-outs, early ganks, chunks in trades. Feels like C9 are using their TPs all around the map in the early game, and Gen.G are just taking advantage of it.
And if we look back to just last game, this bottom lane is so volatile with the Rakan, with the Leona down there, and yet because of all the jungle attention early and the pathing around the top side matchup and how that push actually changed the game, they didn't have extra influence onto the bottom half of the map. Once again, it is another cleanse here from Ruler, so as long as Vulcan doesn't double up with those, they might have an opportunity.
And for the last 2 games, Gen.G has won decidedly the early game. Game 1 by a small margin, game 2 by an incredibly large one. C9, what will they do to fight back? Already the level 1 coming out, cycling through the jungle, observers, hiding the vision from us just to build the tension here, but Ruler should be fine.
They also have a sweeper on Blabber early here for the possible delayed invade.
Looks like they are going to walk up. Blabber pops the E down.
Graves E over back.
Yeah, they're going to do something top side here, you'd expect, because Klid's probably going to go down towards bot side to play for Renekton lane. I think they've snuck their way in here. If Blabber pops the sweeper, they should know this could be a free red buff.
BDD trading well, but Paddlestar and the Dark Sphere are going to miss. Blabber now stepping up, maybe hoping to split the map, maybe hoping to split topside and isolate Rascal.
The important thing here is Gen.G have no idea that they're doing this, so Klid's just going to path to topside expecting that Fudge leashed, and then he'll slowly start to realize that his top camps have been taken away. Blabber has 2 options here. Early gank mid from topside to catch BDD off guard to get the flash, or just take away all the camps.
Again, that level 1 vision fight so incredibly important. They didn't even get vision of Blabber to see that he started a sweeper, and since Blabber with his sweeper, they didn't pick up any wards on the way in. As you're saying, it will be completely in the dark here. It does allow you to cross as well.
I think an early mid gank could do well if Perks hits level 2 and they hit a stun. BDD's dead and that'll unlock mid, so C9 have a chance to start contesting through mid. BDD won't expect this play. I think Blabber will EQ flash here if Perks hits the stun.
Yep. Biding their time. Has to be Perks if you mess up the execution. Flash out from BDD. Well played.
And now you cross. Now you cross from red side to red side. So even though they finally get vision of you, it's too late for the answer. Now Clid knows that his top side is gone. Usually a lot of these scenarios he'll come contest, especially if bottom is fighting.
Vulcan going in, level 2 coming in just in time for C9 to keep that trade going on the edge there. If they had not gotten that, it certainly would have fallen apart.
Does Blabber get level 3 off the Raptors though? Because Clid is looking mid now himself. A lot of fighting happening on the map. And Clid is hovering around mid. He does get level 3, so he got mid-wave XP. You can't get level 3 from red Raptors, but he took XP, and that means he has red buff. So he can push Clid out and defend his own jungle. Fight in mid. Blabber has flash, BDD doesn't. Good look for him here.
Flag and drag going forward. BDD no flash. Clid now stepping forward, turning his attention. Not sure who he wants to focus on. BDD going down. That's first blood for C9. Finally getting an advantage for themselves. Can't afford to overstay on this one. They will not commit for a second kill.
The mid jungle is so critical for this team. And this time around, the picks, the game plan coming in, going for the delayed invade. Teleport comes out on the reset though.
Kobe, you said it in draft. So goes Blabber, so goes the team. Cloud9 off to a solid start. Blabber and Perks off to a solid start. Can they keep the ball rolling here?
C9 playing very aggressive on the spot side when they spot out Clid, and they've shut down BDD. They've gotten his flash and they've gotten Perks ahead. Will Perks save TP here? I expect him to just use the TP back to lane. And mid-jungle stabilized for C9, which is a good sign for them. Clid has no red buff, but he's looking for Blabber. He might also be looking for Perks. Going quite deep in the jungle here.
Life waiting in the darkness. Sven locked up, caught out. Big damage coming in. Ignite already going down. Sven flashing out to safety. Cleanse comes out from Ruler, but he's just going to have to walk away on that one.
Fighting topside as well. Clid actually pushes Blabber out his own jungle, and he's chasing him all the way to the tier 2, forcing Blabber to base.
Yeah, it's also going to be a roam from Zoe. They've got move from BDD here. Can he find him?
They're going to dive top instead. I think if Rascal can crash his wave, Fudge is trying to base. I think he might just have to TP out. Can he get the base off? BDD can stop him with Smite.
Nobody can help him.
Maybe he looks for TP out because the wave is on the way. Gen.G have proxied it, so I think Fudge is as good as dead here, unfortunately. Perks has no TP. He will push in mid.
Fudge on an island, Clid very low, but Fudge taking so much damage, turning back, trying to fight Rascal, looking for an opportunity, but he cannot find it. Clean kill, but denying the assist pool from Gen G.
Exactly, you deny at least that 50% extra gold for the assist pool, forcing the fight onto the Renekton. Now, with the cannon actually dropping, he only misses cannon and 2 melee.
I will say though, good play from Gen G despite losing out in mid jungle. Clid has the tempo advantage onto Blabber because he's not clearing camp, so he pushes him out of his own jungle, brings BDD up after having TP'd back to mid, and they get another good top dive rolling for Gen G.
And I love that. I think it highlights something that they have been doing so well this series, Kadriel, is Gen G and continuing to look for that proactive play, which they themselves, they've always talked about how that is something that they have previously been lacking in a decent amount of their high-profile games, and yet BDD is moving pretty early.
Blabber still has his full bot side jungle as well, still has a red buff to access if he wants to, but mid lane is so volatile right now. If Perks hits a stun, Vulcan can follow up with a flash. Looks like they're backing away.
Life in the area, just ushering in the wave with BDD, making sure that he can push out, but it means that Blabber and Vulcan are moving in onto the bottom side of the map.
Uh-oh, flag down.
Three, that's going to be big. No flag. Blabber now has to walk away. Life coming forward. BDD with a stolen Ignite too, forcing out the flash from Blabber, limiting some of that mid lane playmaking potential, but BDD now has to run. Vulcan going forward. He's going to be sleepy, but he's still going to get on top of the Zoe Clid in the area. Immediately, Life now coming in, but Sven's there first. Perks now going in over the wall. That's going to be one as BDD drops. The rest of Gen G now retreating, but they want more. Cloud9 are not done. Life getting taken down. That's going to be big. No, making it well. No, double kill for Sven.
Vulcan into the river first. Support roam so OP here. Sven comes up and is able to answer with the extra move speed off of the Misfortune as well. And Cloud9 take control of the bottom side of the map.
And importantly, for the first time in this series, they take control of the bottom side of the map. For the first time in this series, they have control over river. Vision towards the top side, vision towards the bot side, deep vision for C9, and they're first to the play, and they're forcing these plays. BDD, almost 20 CS down. He will pick up a few creeps here, though.
It's such a big early objective, controlling the move into bottom river first. Vulcan goes in as he's falling asleep.
Nice try there from Life to respond, flashing over the wall to commit to help BDD out because he has picked up an Ignite and maybe they can turn. The difference is C9 have 4 members, Gen G only have 3 because Ruler had to catch bot wave, so C9 forcing the numbers advantage, and Blabber will get this red buff, which has been up the whole game long.
Such a big win there at the end for them too, as Ven already had the auto in the air, gets that extra kill, and the summoner spells now have all been blown around bottom side. Ruler's the only one with flash left down there.
If that hit, Clid would have gone in and killed him. He has no flash, no TPs up, apart from Rascal, who's been saving it this whole game.
Yeah, Clid looking for the repeat play here. He's hovering, thinking that there's going to be further aggression from Cloud9, but Blabber off of Krugs goes for the recall, so it's up to Sven and Vulcan to play it cautiously here. They have no vision.
I think Clid, yeah, will get spotted out. And the thing is, Blabber could match the bot side, but again, Rascal has TP, so it'll be a 4v3, and it looks like Blabber is just going to cycle through his camps and get level 6.
That was such a big thing for timing, though, because that was very efficient for Blabber getting his recall off. He got to reset. Clid revealed on the extra investment of time on bottom side of the map, and as you say, now he can easily transition up to the top side. There is the deep ward, though, from, I believe, Rascal placing that trinket ward super deep towards Gromp. We'll see.
Good news for Gen G, though, is Clid found both those pinks in bot side river, so he's going to get himself a crab and 2 pink wards. So they control the bot side of the map now, so they should have bot push, but Blabber's going to the opposite side. He has the timer on red buff, and Clid clearing out the vision showed, so now maybe Blabber can look to sneak away these camps on the second respawn.
Took him once, wants to now take them again. Early pathing for Blabber doing so much for the side of C9. BDD has his flash back up and available, but still has to play with the respect when he does not know where Blabber is. Of course, across the board right now, Cloud9 1.5k gold lead. Best early game they've had this series. Trying to keep the ball rolling, though. Rascal, level 7. Always difficult to pressure out a Renekton here, but if he overcommits, maybe they can get something done.
Let's see if Fudge fast pushes this one. He's doing it. He's fast pushing. They want to make the dive for sure.
I feel like this is telegraphed, though, from C9, because Vulcan ran through mid with Perks and they pushed the wave together, but they're going to start Herald anyway. Then maybe he was just making sure Fudge could get the top push uncontested. 4 members strong. Look at Sven. He pushed out bot and he's moving up as well. So if Gen G match this, it's going to be a 5v4, similar to the early bot river fight. 4v3, Ruler's nowhere.
Yeah, I don't think they can match it because...
Flash, Life, locked up. Should just get burned down here so quickly. Manages to survive for now, but they've zoned them away and they're going to get the Herald.
Yeah, you can't match it because Jin is so much slower than Misfortune. Even with the boot starts, him heading back towards bottom side of the map. Yeah, good call, I think, by Gen G not to try and play catch-up here.
Yeah, and Perks didn't have mana to do his full combo there to kill Life, so he'll get away with that one. Bit of a blunder, but Sven will only lose a bot plate here for the Herald. Now it's all on C9. How can they use this Herald? Mid lane, 4 plates left. C9 have been playing good to respond to how Gen G's been playing this series. They've been playing through mid. Blabber's been there, the early invades helped. Now they need to unlock that mid tower to get Perks moving around the map.
their eyes on the top side. Fudge weathering the storm for now. It is a lead for Rascal, one of the only strong points on the map right now for Gen G. Keeping their eyes on the plays to come as Fudge walks forward, just threatens. Looking to cancel that recall as he catches this wave, but a very close game. Cloud9 in the lead for now, but it feels like the best start C9 have had so far in this series. And the next focus, Dragon still on the map, and where are they going to use the Herald? What is the option going to be?
I expect it to be mid because Vulcan can constantly move there. Sven can always be there first. The only point of the map that's been struggling for C9 is Fudge, right? He got dove earlier on, lost his TP, but he's been quietly farming up and is even with Rascal and his TP's coming back up. So should be able to match, but there could be a fight in bot river.
In the brush. They have to commit for this one. Vulcan still managing to get all of his CC down, but now he's in enemy lines. He's in enemy territory. He's burning from the Ignite, and he's going to get taken out. Clid grabbing him with the kick.
It's always such a big setup objective to get those control wards down by mid lane before making the play. Very risky to hex flash over into the side lane bush, and Sven might pay the price too.
Gen G upping the pace. Clid ready to leap forward, ready to lock up Sven. Red Smite coming in through too. There's no way he can get out of this one. Clid grabs that kill. Now Ruler's gonna have priority access to the tower, but Blabber here to respond, ready to defend. Has to be careful, the life in the area.
Huge comeback here from Gen G. Based off that mid vision, constant combat here is going to benefit them so much. Ruler gets another plate.
Yeah, game is now completely even. C9 have the Herald though, so that's the only real points of advantage that they have. Good chunk from Ruler to chunk out Sven. After Vulcan dies, Clid collapses in. The game is all about mid lane vision. I think Perks might be dead here. BDD.
A lot of damage, no stolen summoner, so it means it's hard to follow up the flash out. Respond with the flash in kind. Click on the trigger finger there for Perks.
I feel like that's not really worth it for BDD against the Jarvan. We'll see how the game plays out though, because Perks can be punished against a level 6 Rakan and a Lee Sin with flash kick. So both mid laners, again, really vulnerable. Both jungle supports have to play for this lane as Gen G get the first dragon. Blabber! Deals away the crab.
The crabber can't win that smite fight.
But the tempo C9 have in bot right now is great. They get vision of support. They can herald bots right here. They might be able to get a full tower. Perks has tempo in mid as well after TPing back. So maybe they look to herald this tower and get some plates for the bot lane. Rascal is basing though, and look at Vulcan. He's looking for wards behind, looking for TP wards behind them. I think he swept out the only one.
Yeah, got to do it quickly as the reinforcements are arriving.
At least 4 plates here, but looks like they won't be able to break the tower. C9 now forced to walk away, but a lot more gold back in their pocket. Finally, C9 again in control when it comes to the gold lead, turning their attention back to the mid lane, trying to keep the tempo going, trying to keep this pace as BDD returns to mid, but he does not have a flash.
And critically, remember the mini objective of this vision that we just went over by mid lane. It's so critical. That's how you make the comeback, and it's off of that they go for BDD.
He goes back in, he's ignited, he's getting ticking down, but he is not going to drop. BDD holding on to his life. Perks using the ultimate, but will not finish the kill.
Controlling these wards. Look at how deep that control ward is. This allows you the route to make these plays. Sven is in for the dive on BDD.
He's trying to zone them away, but tempo has been the key here. Ever since Gen G did that dragon, C9 have had control of the bot side river because Clid had to base. So they got plates in bot. They did force BDD out. Didn't get the kill though. Good play from C9 overall.
Yeah, since so many of these are being set off of that vision, it's really important to pair up the support with the jungle, moving in to get it safely. Life right now by himself, off of the resets of everybody else, is going to be able to get it done though. Rakan very mobile.
And I have to say, Vulcan is kind of the MVP of that bot play because he found the ward behind bot lane. Rascal was basing and Sven had no flash, so if Rascal and BDD TP'd on that ward, they would have all died. So he's quietly saving the game there for C9 while they siege bot, but the game is almost in an even state. The problem is C9 can push Gen G out of their bot side the whole game long. Gen G have flash on Rakan, so Perks has to be quite careful.
This is where the war is. This battlefield right here. Vision through top side of this jungle.
Taking their time, Cloud9 trying to get mid push first so they can move down and fight for some of that vision as Gen G push forward.
Are they dropping bot lane? C9 have just completely ignored bot. Ruler can push and take plates now. It looks like they just want to rush first tower of the game towards top lane. Herald is not spawning anytime soon, I think, so they're committing 5 members top.
Big Gen G need to be ready to respond here, forcing out the slice already. The dice can't follow up. Rascal making it out. C9 going to try to grab something top lane as Ruler is isolated. Keep our eyes on the mini-map as the picture-in-picture will fade away in a moment and see what the response will be from the side of Gen G.
Looks like Ruler's just going to get a full tower to himself. C9 have committed 4 members up here. Let's see if they can force anything though, because they have numbers advantage, but Rascal
locked up. Still a level 10 Renekton with ultimate available. Have to give him that respect. Cannot fully commit. Fudge coming down though. BDD in the area.
BDD no flash.
Rascal could be in trouble here though as Fudge comes over the wall. It's going to be big. The ulti now comes out, but that's the follow-up coming in from Rakan. Clid off to the backside. Already 1 member from C9 take it down. They're trying to turn, they're trying to burn. Perks going to grab one back in response. Fudge so incredibly powerful in close range. The shotgun finding everything that they need. Clid now has to run for the hills, but BDD finds the bubble. Looking to turn it back. Fudge, hit by the kick, Sven leaping forward, Gale force in, that's gonna be the shutdown, that's gonna be big BDD! There's the ulti! Has to run for his life as Blabber grabs the kill.
Oh my goodness, Sven flies in like a hero to save him after the Q had landed. Clid is really going to want that one back. The first one missing just kind of wide there, but what a commitment. Cloud9, they overload on the top side of the map because there are more resources. They're going for the red contest, and Rascal takes too much damage while contesting it early.
Yeah, just quite a confusing play from both sides, I have to say, because C9 commits 5 members to top side, and Gen G don't have to give them a 5v4, but they do fancy it. Rascal kind of finds Blabber chunked out, but then the fight kicks off. Ruler's hitting bot tower, so it's a 5v4 from the very beginning. The key point of this fight is Klid's next Q onto Blabber. Yeah. He gets, I believe he gets bubbled up or something like this. He kicks him, and he doesn't actually land the Q. It misses to the side. If he hit that, I think he would kill Blabber, and then maybe he could turn and kill the rest of the members as well with BDD, but the 5v4 was kind of given to them there, C9.
Clean finish up here in the Axe Effect replay, and of course, if you look at the backside of this fight, incredible. Blabber, 100% kill participation everywhere he needs to be. Fantastic start to this game from C9, firmly in control.
Yeah, and if you look at the standing gold on the map, if C9 get this Herald, they can get mid tower with Herald, they can get bot tier 1, which is already really low, so we're looking at a map state in around a minute or two where C9 should have all altars, they'll have control over Dragon, and Gen G don't have ultimates up just yet. Life needs that quickness, and they need to get vision control around bot side if they want to stop this from happening.
Exactly. Again, we would keep returning to it though, but that's the first stepping stone. Setting up the vision for your picks with your Leona and your Syndra. And on the other side, it's just as true for Gen G with BDD Zoe. He has definitely hit those game-winning bubbles to come back into it. If they get another play like we saw in the first 5 minutes of the double control ward just over there hovering, leading up to Dragon like they have right now, they've got the setup to do it and the pick themselves.
And I think it's so important to highlight BDD because in the previous game, he was a monster. He was a player unleashed, 1-1-15. He was the standout, 6K plus A at 15. But this game for Cloud9, they have shut him down. They have limited his impact. It started with a smart level 1. It started with an early gank in the mid lane. And while it's still a close game, certainly, this is how Cloud9 have built their lead.
Yeah, just going back to the game itself, here's the Herald minutes we expect. We expect the map now from mid tier 1 to full and bot tier 1 to full. Gen G using their tempo on Dragon once again will mean they lose out on the lanes. Gen G have a good soul though, Mountain Soul they're building towards, but C9 will be able to get all 3 outer towers for now.
Yep, you can just transition everybody's mid pressure right on down, make sure the last remnants of that bottom side tower will fall over to Fudge, and that's a lot of money in a very short time frame here for Cloud9 to be able to finish up on the Mythics here. You get your Luden's Echo completed for perks, and they should be able to retake.
I think the important thing here is Fudge is up 1.2k gold onto Rascal, a champion that doesn't scale very well and is looking more for team fights. If Fudge can win out on that side lane, we saw him, he was losing in the early game, he got dove, but now he's got a shutdown on him and he's back in the game. He's going to be great in team fights, he's going to be great over side, so Gen G need to find a way to crack open the side lane, similar to last game when Gen G had the push on side lane.
And I think it's so massive for his individual matchup on side lane because when you have a 1200 gold berth, that 800 gold you have to buy for Executioners to mitigate so much of the healing that's going to come out from Renekton in that individual 1v1 is big. Not only for him, but now in the future fights as well. You've got a Lee Sin, you got a Renekton with Gore Drinker, mitigating so much of that with an early purchase.
They're actually going to reset Fudge right now off of the bottom side early push from Rascal, so it's going to have the extra wave to catch. Teleport is ready though, and they should be able to move once again into red quadrant of Gen G's jungle.
And if you're looking at Gen G's perspective, how do they crack this game back open? The problem is BDD sitting under this top tier 1, and what Zoe wants to do is she wants to have the push, and she wants to be able to poke people out and make sure they can set up the objectives first. So the only realistic way Gen G can look to force things is Rascal pushing out bot, and then looking for some kind of engage with life flashing forwards, Rascal TPing behind and kicking off a fight with a numbers advantage. If they don't, here it comes. No,
Rascal,
TP away.
Early TP out. He saw all of C9 collapsing on the bottom side. He knew that the only way he would escape is if he TP'd before any of the CC could get into the area.
That hurts with Baron in 2 minutes.
Exactly. Such a critical cooldown earned there by Cloud9. Stun Deer does land on Clid as well, but you bring up, how do Gen G get back into this? Because it is, we'll watch them crush from ahead with the priority, with the extra side advance, with the extra teleport. Now trying to find themselves building a way out of such a deficit here where they do not have the luxury of those tools comes down to so much of the pick potential. They really have the tools to do it with Jhin, Rakan, and Zoe, some of the best in the game at doing it. But again, you need Fog of War advantage to find those.
I like what they did there. Just send jungle support top, cover BDD, he can push out on base. I think keeping one lane of push, at least so he can play through one lane, will help them contest vision around their own top side jungle. But the problem is right here. Fudge is up a level, he has TP, so he can control this lane as much as he wants. When he gets that Bloodthirster, I think we're looking at the exact same situation as last game, where the Graves can 1v2 both solo laners.
It's very funny too. We saw last game a bunch of you know, Graves in the hands of Rascal getting a bunch of the jungle camps. This time around, he gets one back for himself, and of course the Bloodthirster does come in for that sustain beast.
Such a difficult matchup to deal with, especially when Graves gets going. And now even then, if they are, C9 do want to start looking at a Baron, potentially setting up, we are still 30 seconds away from that objective. With that much lifesteal, it's so much more low risk to go for a big objective like the Baron itself. That said, Gen G grouping around the bottom side, fighting for that vision, fighting for that control so they can look to set up some of these picks. That said, C9 on the top side doing the same.
Needs to be careful here. He has to TP out as well. That's 2 TPs used from Gen G. These side lanes are only going to get worse. They know they're getting collapsed on every single time. Gen G trying to set up bot side vision for this dragon spawning in 1 minute 20. And it looks like C9 are just trying to trade towards the top side. Fudge might have to be careful here.
Fudge going forward, looking for that 2v1 we talked about. Good damage, a lot of life still, but he needs to be able to continue auto-attacking. Ignite now coming out, but he's standing on for now.
That was a kick and a quickness invested from the Rakan. So 1 minute until Dragon, no Ignite and 2 ultimates down. If Fudge can base and look to lifesteal up or TP towards the top side, I think C9 have a window to force something here.
Yeah, Gen G actually were kind of forced into that play because of the lack of teleports, so they have to group up for those attempts at picks. Fudge, a little bit of a dangerous route through their own jungle there and does lose out a little bit, but he didn't have to burn summoner spells because of the shield bow proc, able to survive without it. Rascal getting the secondary turret is huge though.
A lot of gold into Renekton's back pocket there. Really good adaptation from chunking out Fudge.
Needed
C9,
that.
Yeah, C9 could look for a top tier 2 here if Fudge kind of looks for TPs towards the top side, but it looks like C9 want to contest this Dragon. Rascal is basing so they can push this next mid wave. Perks can move down and join the rest of the team, and then they can start to set up.
Again, top wave is dying on top side because of the teleport advantage. Perks actually pushed it out, and they've got Fudge pushing on bottom side to get their move first. Can they move into the river after pushing mid though? Glitch just gonna head right for it.
Yeah, Zoe is really dangerous in these situations.
Taking time on this one, giving up a wave just to be here. Gen G sacrificing at least 6 creeps just to come to this play. Clit in the area, Fudge off to the side. They know the shield bow won't be up. Maybe they can try to burst him down this time, but it is going to be difficult. Vision control for now in favor of Gen G. You highlighted it, Cage, with the Zoe, the bubble. Where will it come from? The darkness, as we've highlighted with our observers. Where is it going to go? Everyone standing, you're just watching this fight. Bubble gonna go in, but it's just gonna connect on a Vulcan. Now who's gonna be able to burst down the objective? Who can get the smite? Clit in the area, and he manages to take it away. C9 risking the 50-50, but Gen G the ones who come out on top. Yes, it costs them a top wave, but very little else, as now they might even look for the re-engage.
No? Yeah, Gen G have a Mountain Soul point now, and C9 get nothing. There's no wave set up to try and fight for a tier 2 in mid or top, and they can't walk towards the Nash either because they got chunked out a little bit. So Gen G have the late game scaling in their pocket with the Dragon Soul, you'd imagine.
Yeah, with the lane allocations, their teleport advantage was on Fudge, and putting Perks top instead of Fudge top, they weren't even able to get damage on that secondary turret on top side in trade. Gen G's so happy with how that Dragon went.
Definitely are, but C9 still up 4k gold. Fudge still has the bot push, but the good thing for Gen G is TPs are coming back up. Rascals will be up and available soon, so he can actually catch these bot waves without having to worry too much. C9 need to make sure they contest that Dragon in 4 minutes time.
C9 holding on to their 4k gold lead, but as highlighted, it is 3 dragons for the side of Gen G. Getting a Mountain Soul when you have Elisa and Renekton topside, a Syndra on the enemy team who would love to one-shot to squish your members. That's going to get so much harder if Gen G can take away that crucial soul. But with that objective down, you expect the top side's going to get that much more important, and already Life moving up, looking to lay down some vision control, but has to be careful, has to give that respect to C9 as they retake mid control with Sven.
Yeah, and BDD again, jungle support hovering towards top so he can push out in base. Hasn't even picked up his second item just yet, so BDD really far behind in this game, but we know what Zoe can do with vision control and contesting over objectives.
Exactly, putting them to sleep, trying to find the straggling member as you fight for this vision. Cloud9, you can see, making it dark around Baron.
And remember, it is do or die for C9. A single mistake could cost them the series, could cost them their run at Worlds. Gen G on the cusp of victory, but they are still behind in this game. Cloud9 with confidence, moving back into the mid lane, looking to take control of vision, looking to fight. Fudge coming down. Gen G running from Vulcan. C9 will not fish for the engage.
It's a stare down right now. C9 want to make sure Gen G can't walk into this river. There's no dragon for 3 minutes though, but Perks investing the TP to make sure they can keep tempo on the map. BDD will show top and will clear out this top wave, but Blabber has been focusing this blue buff all game long, will take it away once again, and that gives Gen G a window to get vision control top side. So C9 keep trying to flush out Gen G and they keep going to the opposite side of the map.
There is so much pressure on the side of Cloud9. So much tension building here in an elimination game, backs against the wall versus Gen G, moving towards mid lane. The wave is immediately annihilated, so they've bought some more time for the extra push over. Sven going over to Fudge to try and help out on the bottom push, though. Zoe gonna trade just for tower gold.
C9 now on the clock. Zoe guaranteed to get a tower. Can they get one back in return as Ruler comes down to the bottom side? Rascal moving in to delete the wave. C9 very focused on the objective. The lockup is there. Will not connect onto Blabber. C9 trading back outer for inner.
Yeah, C9 starting to force these tier 2s. They were contesting vision, but now they're just playing to one side. They know Gen G can't look for Nash because they spotted them out on bot side, and it's a trade of towers. Slightly benefiting C9 now because they can push out bot to tier 3, but BDD responding on the map.
And that's a very big tower to take, considering Cloud9 are looking at the next dragon. This Mountain Soul is incredibly impactful as far as the amount of burst damage and pick that is available on the opponent team. So they've invested all their vision, and you see where these two teams care about for the next objective with where they've invested all their wards.
Yep.
Everything leading up to the dragon for Cloud9. And Gen G are in the position that they can give a dragon to Cloud9. They don't have to force on the soul. They would be able to transition over towards Baron and be very happy with that.
Happy to sacrifice that 5 minutes, most certainly. And of course, the difficulty is oftentimes it's a dragon for a Baron, and that's what you can threaten. But this is a Jhin, Zoe, Renekton, Lee Sin. Their Baron sucks. They cannot take that objective down quickly. They don't have a traditional hyper carry. They don't have a consistent sort of damage output. So very hard for Gen G without a full ace to even threaten that major objective.
Yeah, the scary thing about a Mountain Soul, though, with 3 dragons in Gen G's pocket is 1 steal from Clid is game deciding. That's going to be there for the rest of the game. Maybe C9 can get a Baron and transition that if Clid does give his life for it, but still, that's going to last the whole game long, so they need to get a lot out of the Baron. So setup coming in, C9 have bot push, they have mid push. They're going to contest it now, and they're going to have bot side vision. They have the crab as well, so they need to push Gen G out. If BDD can land a lot of poke onto Perks with no TP, then maybe that's their window into this Dragon Pit.
Battle lines have been drawn. Both sides set up in the mid lane, ready for this objective. Both sides know what's at stakes. The last 2 smites have gone in the favor of Clid. Both 50-50s in game 2, as well as now the dragon coming out here. If they can find a steal, it is everything. C9 favored in the fight, favored with the gold lead that they have built. But Clid waiting in the darkness, clearing out the vision, looking for an opportunity to take away the all-crucial soul.
Cloud9 also have 2 critical Scryer's Bloom trinkets to use to try and find out the Zoe in the jungle here for the transition over.
Tournament lives on the line here, Sven.
Going through, their body blocking, but they immediately follows. That's going to be Sven gone. That's huge. Fudge in the mid lane fighting Rascal. Does not have time to respond. BDD now, as Summoner spells start to come out, can look for blood. He can smell it in the water. He can see the semifinals in front of them, but Perks denies him for now. Now, immediately the engage firing back. Blabber doing what he can. For now, Vulcan living, flashing out safety. Rascal going toe-to-toe with Fudge, but he will get 1v1 in the end. Ruler still standing as Blabber tries his best to hold the line, but Perks off on the backside. The stun will not connect. Blabber shut down. It's big from Ruler. The snare coming in. BDD, the stolen ignite. He's going to kill everybody if he's given time. Another stolen flash. He's popping off, but will it be enough? He goes back. They are on the edge of madness, but Life finds the shutdown with the help from the bubble. The deadly flourish not going to connect. Perks running for his life, but it is dominance from Gen G in the fight.
Yeah, and they're going to get a Mountain Soul out of it as well. It all starts with Sven falling from the very beginning of the fight. The bubble connected, the Jhin ult came out, and BDD Life saved the fight for Gen G.
BDD finds another one. The bubble over the wall. What a game winner. You mentioned so many times, he's so far down. The Zoe's not fed. The Zoe's not fed. But it just takes that one bubble. Sven annihilated in the team fight, can't do anything here.
And this bubble might be the bubble that pushes Gen G into the semifinals up against EDG. Connects onto Sven, everyone tries to block for him to heal the Gale Force, but the follow-up from Life and Clid is there, and it's a 5v4 from the very beginning. Fudge is fighting off against Rascal on the mid lane on the top left of your screen, but BDD can start to chase you down with the Qs, with the portal jumps, and with the bubbles. Blabber does his best to try and finish off Clid, but then he's in the middle of 3 members of Gen G.
Almost kind of savable there as Blabber goes in and gets the kill, but because that bubble landed on Perks, he was delayed coming over. If that bubble hadn't landed, then he would have been able to follow up with a stun off of Blabber's knockup there, and maybe they could salvage something off of this, though. BDD picks up the flash, jumps over, and even though Fudge tries to finish it off, they pick up the extra kill, getting their soul.
Yeah, and Perks held his flash for so long after the stopwatch, getting hit by the Zoe Q and then the ignite, so he was forced out the fight quite quickly, and now Gen G have the Mountain Soul. Baron is still available. C9 still have a gold lead, but now this burst from the Graves and from the Syndra will be negated a little bit more by this Soul.
And you can see the power of the Graves, but he was hitting Rascal the entire time. BDD was hitting everyone with his damage, finding that kill on Sven, finding that crucial bubble, and now we watch. For now, they still have a mid-tier 1. It's still hard for BDD to find that vision. With a Mountain Soul, it gets that much easier. They can play that much more aggressive, that much more in their favor as we look towards the next fight. C9 not out of it yet, but if an 0-2 start wasn't enough, their backs are now against the wall and a Mountain Soul on the side of Gen G.
Yeah, map stayed in a very familiar position. C9 pushing bot, taking away the blue buff. Gen G kind of cross-mapping and doing the opposite side of the map, looking for top-side vision. Clid and Life pairing up. Fudge might have to be careful here. He just eat forwards.
Life now coming in, TP being committed as well. Fudge locked up, there's so much CC, there's so much damage, no chance to even life steal on this one. Clid grabbing the kill.
That's huge for Gen G. They get a very big setup now. They've already got everybody over by Baron. Easy transition for them.
Yeah, that is gonna be Baron. C9 can't really contest. Perks can TP in if they fancy a 4v5, but they're against Gen G. 5 members strong, they're 2 ultimates down. But if they lose this Baron, that could be it against the Zoe with a soul. C9 now contesting.
Gen G peeling back, taking their time. It's still a very slow Baron. Blabber, can he make it into the pit? But it's BDD in the meantime, raining down damage. Good trade back though from Perks, just throwing down the ultimate to keep BDD low. Both sides very willing to stay in the area, very willing to contest. 17 seconds on Fudge, he has the TP as well. C9 just buying time, just threatening. 5k getting lower. Gen G not committing too much damage to the Baron, not trying to burst it yet. Bubble will go a little bit wide, is not going to connect. C9 slowly but surely pushing Gen G out of the pit. They're not going to continue to leash the Baron.
Fudge has teleport, it's coming up. Fudge has teleport. This is about to be a 5-on-5. They've bought enough time.
Fudge is going to save it though, because Gen G back off. The stare down went on for 30 seconds to a minute there, and the reason it happened was Gen G was looking for bubbles, looking for Jin Ws, looking for one target to get hit so they could turn onto them. C9 dodged all of the skills and was able to stop the Baron from falling. Big mistake by Fudge getting caught. He needs to make sure he's more careful next time. Gen G have control over the opposite side of the map that C9 aren't playing for. Pushing out those side lanes is very, very risky, but Fudge saves the TP. C9 weather the storm for now, but Gen G still, with this Mountain Soul, can start to push forwards after basing.
Yeah, you can't afford to have lapse in judgment or lapse in tracking opponents in these late game lane allocations, because the punishment could be huge. Gen G gets that much time to free fire and fish for picks. Very, very important dodging from Cloud9.
Certainly is. High stakes. We get later and later into the game. Elimination points, Blabber stepping forward, debating if they want the fight. Fudge and C9 taking control of the Baron pit. They've got all the vision in the area, but it's Clid coming in on a flank. He's going to be spotted out by the ward. C9 now peeling back. Perks has to be careful, but he has the Banshees to keep him safe. Flag and drag over.
Sven's positioning.
There it is, Sven, kick back in, the knock-up immediate combo. That's the fight already in favor now of Gen G as they descend upon C9. C9, can they outplay it? Eyes on Fudge, big damage for Rascal, jumping into the front line. Blabber trying to buy as much space as humanly possible, but now the curtains come out. Vulcan locked up, Vulcan knocked down 3 and 4 with the bullets as Ruler finds 2. Curtains for C9 is the name of the game as Ruler steps forward with the 4th shot, looking to find his prey. The knock-up from Life. C9 are being run down. It was an elimination game, and Gen G are coming up clutch in the fight.
Fudge is still alive though, does end up falling. I think that might be the game-winning team fight for Gen G, because now they can push down mid. Now they can get the Baron. Sven getting caught out once again. BDD and Clid finding clutch plays in both these fights back to back. Gen G get the Baron.
That was some artwork by Clid there. Sneaking through to the backside, coming from Fog of War, right behind Sven to get him again. Double summoners immediately assassinated.
Yeah, the game is just slipping further and further out of C9's hands. They had such a good gold lead. They had 3 outer towers taken. They had full map control. But Gen G have dissected the map and found ways back into it. Now they sit themselves with a Baron and with the Mountain Soul still. 50 seconds on the Elder Dragon. The action is not done just yet. Fudge is going to respawn soon, and you expect him to TP in. Everyone's going to be running to this Dragon, because even if you're behind, even if you don't have a soul, the Elder Dragon is game deciding.
C9 holding on to hope. But we take a look back, exactly what happened in this team fight, and you can see the flank from Clid, the long con, pays off as he finds the kick.
Right into Rascal's waiting arms for the stun, and once again it's a 4v5. Blabber tried to disengage by Cataclysm in and then EQ out, but it just means the rest of Gen G chase him down.
Replay. Now looking for another fight as BDD starting to rain poke over the wall. Fudge and Perks now stepping forward, but that's going to be a sleepy Graves again. An easy pick as Blabber drops. Gen G now knowing that they can keep the fight going. Perks backing away, but his Banshees have been taken out. Life dipping in and out of the fight. Rascal on the backside. C9, where will they even retreat to? Here comes Rascal. He's not even needed. Sven wasn't in the last fight because he was dead, and he wasn't in this fight because he was off in bot lane farming. C9 C9 falling apart, and Gen G tear them to pieces.
I think they can run down mid here. The only line of defense is Sven. The Jin ult's gonna come out. Maybe he can use the MF ult to clear the wave. The bubble connects again, and Sven dies. Gen G might be able to end the game right here and right now.
Gen G marching down the mid lane. In 2020 quarterfinals, they fell to pieces in the face of G2, but Gen G stayed strong. They kept their 5 players. They believed in this 5-man lineup. And here in 2021, in the quarterfinals, they will knock down C9. They will sweep aside the West, and they will advance to the semifinals.
Worlds 2021 has been an LCK masterclass.
3 LCK teams in the semifinals. EDG, the LPL team in the semifinals, and both Western teams drop out in quarters. 3-0 domination from both LCK sides.
And redemption for Gen G. These players have come up short so many times. Rulers of World Champion has never won an LCK title. You know, you've got guys like BDD who have been so close, who have made it to MSI, who have made it to the finals and fallen flat in that final moment. The win in the quarterfinals, they get themselves one step closer to redemption. And what a performance it was. Cloud9, yes, they fought back in Game 3. They fought back in Game 1, but Game 2, we saw a Gen G unleashed absolute dominance in this series.
BDD, epitomizing the lesson of staying true to yourself, playing what you are good at. You do not always have to jump on the meta. You do not have to play Twisted Fate to win games here. You gotta land some bubbles, and he has always done that.
What a great series from the mid jungle, especially. C9 take a bow as they're knocked out of Worlds 2021. And shocking that they made it there in the first place to the quarters with that group of death, making it out. Quarterfinals, obviously Gen G domination, but I think C9 can hold their heads high for making it to the quarters.
For sure. Massive run by Cloud9 this year, making it out of the group of death just to be here.
Yeah, I mean, incredible to make it this far. I think it was. The odds were stacked against them in the group draw. Made it work. Showed up in the games where it mattered most. Sadly, here in the quarterfinals, falling a bit short. Moments in Game 1, moments in that game where you felt like they could take it back. But Gen G, the better team on the day. And again, Clid finally gets his vengeance, finally takes down Perkz after 3 best-of-5s internationally, where he came up short, where Perkz and G2 in that case eliminated. Here, C9, though, falling a bit short. Of course, be sure to check out the Spotify-exclusive podcast, Riff Reaction, hosted by Travis Gafford and Emily Rand. They'll be covering trending news in the world of LoL esports, and you can listen in on the next episode this Wednesday. Today, our coverage of World continues in a few minutes with World's cooldown, so don't go anywhere.
Oh yes, the king of the jungle. Time for a quick Red Bull?
Red Bull? But you still won't be quicker than the lion.
I don't have to be quicker than the lion, just quicker than you.
Red Bull gives you wings.
The magical power of the realm is a mystery. Like a guardian, it is with you always. Defending you, charging you, watching over you like... Actually, it's not magic. It's this Cisco network. The power behind every gank, every combo, every mind-blowing moment. At League of Legends World Championships.
I woke up to the morning sky first. Baby blue, just like we rehearsed.
This ain't where the legends come from. You know what a hero looks like. Other people on fire, fire. Maybe it's time they meet their dragon. 'Cause if I gotta break it all down, then let's break it all down. Flying with fire, and we'll burn it all down.
Make or break. Make it yours.
Welcome to Worlds Cooldown. I am Freak. The man across from me is Azale. And up there with a big head, deservedly, is Chronicler. Woo! 3-0, Gen G. Taking names. Speak, my man.
I did not have faith, but I should have known. Every day I've been on the broadcast, it's been a 3-0. And you called it as well, Freak. It was indeed a 3-0.
It was a 3-0.
To me, not in the right way, but a 3-0 nonetheless. I'm just really happy for Gen G. I think that out of all the LCK teams, they have struggled with themselves, their own form, and kind of chasing their own level of gameplay the most. And seeing them being able to actually pull it off and get a decisive victory in the quarterfinals is really big for them.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I'm disappointed. I won't say I'm shocked. Like, literally at the start of the day when we were talking about, oh yeah, people were so excited about Cloud9 potentially going to the finals. They have such a good side of the bracket. I even said then, hey, I wouldn't be shocked to hear they lost 3-0 in the quarters, and I'm not. I am sad about the way that it happened in some of these games. I think that at Third Dragon, when you're up 4K, not even being willing to engage and actually hard commit to a fight, was pretty disappointing to see. The way that they actually lost in game one, similarly, not actually being at Elder in time to fight. They had some good moments, but at the end of the day, I just think that Clid and BDD were on another level. And Gen G is so far and away the deserving victors here. They showed a level of mastery of playing through mid, of snowballing top lane. Even though Gen G is known so much as a team that puts all the resources into Ruler, it was actually much more about how they destroyed Fudge today. And it wasn't really Fudge losing 1v1. It was Fudge actually losing because Gen G would get control of mid, they would go with mid jungle, they'd zone him off waves, they'd dive him. Even in this Graves game in the last one, Cloud9 is able to actually kill off BDD in mid, but yet it's BDD that gets up to top. It's BDD that is making the first play to the side lanes, and I was so impressed by how well they were able to actually control that top side of the map with mid jungle pressure.
Yep, and of course you mentioned it. Oppo player of the game, gonna be Clid. I mean, he really has been outstanding. If we go for the entire series, obviously the incredible smites across game one, the nail biting, getting kicked out of Baron Pit, grabs that one. The second one, they make the call, DPS the dragon before the Ziggs bomb. We'll get it in time. He's right, he lands a smite. They get it instead of the death cap Ziggs ult, which is gonna do like 1100, right? So like once you see it, it's like you're calling DPS, you're calling stop instantly. They got that call right as well. Again, the smites were there. His ganks were outstanding. He was heat-seeking and finding Sven at the end of that game. I mean, right, like, just so many good catches there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the start of the game was much more about Cloud9 and things going well for them, but this was obviously a really nice kick to actually finish off the kill on Vulcan. And the later stages of the game was really, it just felt like all Sven getting caught, all Sven getting killed. On this one, Ruler hit 4 straight hits of his ult, then hit his W. None of them are able to be dodged, then comes in for the easy cleanup. We saw Sven getting caught, around the dragon by the sleep. We saw the kick catching him as well. Really just good angles here that Clid was able to consistently come from and punish Cloud9 really, really consistently throughout the game. Like, this is one that, you pointed out when we were watching it live. Why is he playing towards the bottom side of the river?
He's attacking a ward near Clid.
Exactly. Clid is the only one on your screen. He placed that ward, but you're walking down towards it, and Clid, rightfully so, punishes him.
Yep, and then it was cleanup. And even though Cloud9 had their moments of strength, right, of being up in gold, Chronicler, Gen G fought back from behind. I mean, they were cursed in best of fives, and here they come out swinging against a team who was giving them some punches.
And as I said earlier, it was BDD, but also Clid, because Clid has domestically had the issue of they have an okay early game. He's been known to pick champions like Volibear as well that are really about enabling the rest of his team, but then losing the impact that you see someone like Kane have, for example. But in this series today, it felt to me like he never fell off, right? He kept looking for plays. It was him that found the kicks. It was him that drew a lot of pressure, that kind of guided the rest of the team. And that is a performance that we haven't seen consistently from Clid in a really long time. I do agree with you. I think that C9 had a very good shot in that third game in particular. I think the first game from both teams was a lot. There was a lot going on, and in the end, it was just the smites that decided that. I don't feel like either team really deserved that one, if that makes sense. It went to Gen G, but it could have just as easily gone to C9. But that third one, I did really like how they were able to kind of punish a lot of the over-aggression that Gen G has shown. But then you also see that when it comes to actually shutting down BDD, even if he's 0-3, on the Zoe, right? Like, how does he still find the bubbles? And I don't know. He's just too good.
Yeah,
He's just good.
BDD was incredible, but you also do have to criticize. Sven died, what, 3 or 4 straight times with flash up? You know, not being able to flash, you know, any of these skill shots, not being able to do that. And at the end of the day, this is just League of Legends. A lot of the game comes down to the marksman at the later stages of the game, right? You know, Ruler was performing, he was doing his job, and Sven, you know, unfortunately for Cloud9, was not. You know, dies at the soul fight, dies in mid lane, caught bot lane, you know, and then even respawns after the catch mid lane, dies immediately again, all without using his flash. So a tough end for the year for Sven there, unfortunately. But I mean, Genji just straight up played better.
Yeah, I mean, even Ruler brought out champion that he hadn't played since spring. He had 0 recorded Gen games since the end of spring playoffs. He was 2-1 out back in spring. Goes, okay, cool. We're going to be left alone. I'll just wave clear against Misfortune. That's fine. Off we go. It worked really well for him. So that was really nice to see him play so well. Now for more on Genji's win, here's Shox with BDD.
Thank you very much, Freak. I'm here with BDD after a fantastic 3-0 victory in the quarterfinals. BDD, after what happened last year with Genji, there were great expectations and maybe also a bit of doubters in the fandom for Genji. How relieved are you and how proud are you of the team to have made this impressive of a match today and beaten Cloud9, to make it to the semifinal?
네, 우선 BDD 선수 너무 축하드립니다. 사실 작년 이후로 젠지에 대한 기대감도 있었던 동시에 조금 이제 의구심을 갖는 그런 부분도 있었어요, 많은 분들이. 그래서 오늘 이렇게 확실한 경기력으로, 눈부신 경기력으로 좋은 모습 보여주게 된 거에 대해서 얼마나 자랑스러움을 느끼시나요?
네, 일단은 그래도 괜찮겠다 정도 생각은 하는데 C9이 그렇게 잘한 팀은 아니라고 생각해서 아직 뭔가 저희가 정말 잘해줬다라는 생각은 안 했던 것 같아요.
Well, I think we did all right, but I also don't think that Cloud9 is one of the premier teams, so I don't think we did an excellent job, to be honest.
Okay, it was still a 3-0, and we saw, of course, the mid lane matchup specifically also last year, you versus Perks. How do you look back on your performance today?
그러면 오늘은 사실 작년에도 8강전을 상대했던 퍽즈 선수와의 또 리매치가 성사된 그런 느낌이 있는데 오늘 경기력에 대해서 어떻게 생각하시나요?
오늘 그냥 할 수 있었던 것만큼 했고 8강에서 제일 못하는 미드를 만나서 당연히 이겨야 된다고 생각했기 때문에 당연히 이겨야 된다고 생각했던 것 같아요.
I think I did what I was supposed to do and what I could do, and I was having a matchup against the weakest mid laner in the quarter, so I think I naturally had to win this.
Oh, okay. The fire that was given in the pre-video also translated into the interview. And BDD, are you surprised that you get your hands still on Zoe?
그러면 또 한 번 조이를 플레이하게 되신 것에 대해서 좀 놀라진 않으셨나요?
네, 충분히 나올 수 있는 구도라고 생각했고 제가 아트록스 한 판을 오늘 예상을 못하고 왔는데 그 판이 되게 신기했었던 것 같아요.
아트록스를 하게 된 게
네.
예상 못했어요? 조이를 상대방이 열어줬을 땐 좀 놀라지 않았나요?
네, 생각보다 어쨌든 티어 정리가 다르다고 생각해서 뭔가 별 생각 없었던 것 같아요.
I wasn't too surprised. I think we had some different understandings of the tier list. I actually didn't expect to play Aatrox today.
That is a great point. In terms of the first draft, that was quite surprising for everybody, but you still managed to win. Now, next up is EDG, and there are 3 LCK teams left also still in the World Championship. How do you feel about your chances of beating EDG and perhaps making it to the final?
네, 그럼 다음 경기는 EDG 전입니다. 이미 4강에 LCK 팀이 3팀이나 진출하면서 정말 굉장한 상황이 형성이 되어 있는데 다음 EDG전에서 각오가 얼마나 자신 있으신지 그래서 결승전에 갈 수 있을 것 같나요?
일단은 정말 어려운 날이 될 것 같고 오늘보다 더 좋은 모습으로 돌아야 이길 수 있다고 생각하고 있습니다.
I think it's going to be a very challenging day for us. I think we have to come back stronger on that day in order to get the win.
Okay, thank you very much, 감사합니다, BDD and Ji-sun. Yes, no punches held here by BDD in the winner interview. Back to you, Freak.
I mean, it's a good clapback because that's what Perk said like right away, right? Is I can't wait to beat the weakest mid laner in quarters. So if anyone's like suddenly being angry about BDD, it's a simple clapback. You got to give him credit where it's due. I'm always a fan of trash talk. I think it heightens the sport. So
I agree.
All the more credit for taking him down. Chronicler. Here's the thing. If Cloud9 had won, we'd be doing cartwheels over here, you know, like celebrating the fact that we got back to semi. So I need to hear some trash talk from you. Like, I need you to let us know just how savage this 3-0 was.
That's a very tall. I'm not very good at that, Freak. You're really putting me on the spot here. I
it's
am
old
not a trash
news. We make semis all the time.
It's really hard for me. I do want to say that I am personally very happy that my one team region has 3 other teams in semis that I quite enjoy.
Thank you. That is what I wanted to hear, and I appreciate that soundbite.
Yeah, I mean, LCK obviously is just absolutely dominating. I think the LPL hasn't looked, nearly as impressive as people were expecting coming into this, myself included. And it'll be interesting because if Gen.G does take down EDG, it's like, well, arguably you have the 3 best teams in the world in the same region.
I mean, what's actually kind of amazing here as well is like the pedigree of the teams left. A 3-time world champion, a 2-time world champion, because Gen.G keeps the Samsung legacy going, the 1-time world champion, and the first ever MSI champion. Those are the 4 teams left. Just historical juggernauts across League of Legends. And I mean, cool to see if EDG can stay alive, because I like to see fights cross-region, but I mean, both matches are going to be exciting, starting with T1 versus Dam1 Kia on Saturday, and then Ebra Gaming versus Gen.G on Sunday. So I think everyone expects Dam1 Kia the favorite there. I'm curious if we have different ideas on the other semi. Like, is it going to be the LCK semi, or does EDG make it happen?
It's hard to say, honestly. I don't think that either team looked that great in their quarterfinals. It's kind of like weird to say coming off of a 3-0, but I actually kind of agree with a lot of what BDD was saying in that I don't think Cloud9 played that well. I actually felt like a lot of those games were very winnable for Cloud9 despite having some really obvious mistakes. So I do think you have to play better against EDG, but EDG also had a very sloppy series against RNG. So it's really tough to predict. I mean, I think maybe I'm like slightly on the EDG side because as far as like what I've seen from them all year, I do think that their body of work has looked more impressive, but Gen.G is playing better and more consistently, to Chronicler's point, than they have for most of the year. So maybe this is just a different beast if BDD is playing like that.
Yeah, it's a hard one for me. I think that EDG Gen.G semis is the one that's going to be very contested. Although, again, as you've already pointed out, if Gen.G lose, they generally lose very convincingly. But I do think that EDG are going to be more capable of punishing some of the mistakes that we saw here today from Gen.G. I think that things like champion pools don't really come into play up until the point where they're actually punished. We saw today that C9 tried but wasn't actually able to. And I expect EDG to be able to do that. That other semi, though, that's fireworks, right? There's no bad outcome there. Either you have fake.
Yes, there is. If it's a 3-0, it's absolutely a bad outcome.
Okay, yeah, okay.
If Dam1 3-0's T1 and then Gen.G wins their semifinal, it's like heading towards the most snoozer end of the tournament.
Cup already.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want a Gen.G dog. Actually, that is the worst case scenario.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There is a bad scenario here. T1 has to play well or it's doomed.
All right, Faker, we believe in you. You and Gumayushi, we're going to make it happen. All right, this year's championship team will mark the occasion with special championship rings designed by Riot Games and Mercedes-Benz. The rings were crafted to memorialize the pinnacle moment in League of Legends esports. Each ring is made from 18-karat white gold with a custom-cut sapphire jewel and a diamond encased in the summoner's hands. Hey, it's fun. I'm glad you get the Summoner's Cup. I'm glad you get some jewelry back. Like, I would wear that.
Get those?
I wish. Yeah. Maybe a plastic replica. We can petition Ryan for some of that. I would sometimes wear a replica championship ring. It wouldn't be deserved, but I would still do it.
Just everyone knows you clearly didn't win it yourself.
Clearly it's not me.
You just bought it.
I'm not Korean. I have not won a world championship. That's just how it kind of goes, you know? I think it's hype. I think it's really cool. I'm a huge fan of like anything commemorative where you take it with you. Like, I was best in the world. Maybe still am, in the case of Showmaker.
Absolutely. And then you can get, down the line, Faker can just have a handful of rings, right?
Just can't fit them all.
Yeah, exactly.
Collect them like Dragon Balls.
I can see it. I think the cool thing is just the growth that we've seen in like the level of prizes and like awards and just the way that these players are being rewarded for like what is an incredible achievement. I think is really, really cool.
It is really cool.
Yeah. I just got to point out one last thing before we toss to the end of the day. Because obviously, like when your team wins Worlds, you get skins, right? And so you can have your T1 skins, your Dam1 skins. We're 2 years away from having a Faker team. Just Faker will have an entire team comp if he wins this one. Like, that's absurd, by the way, that your entire team is you. Then if only my teammates were as good as me, I'd win Worlds. You can just do that. That'd be the run for Faker. See you in 2022. That's all from us here tonight. Be sure to join us next weekend for more of Worlds 2021. Before we head out, let's take a look back at the best moments from the quarterfinals in our Axe highlights.
Welcome back to Worlds 2021, taking place in Reykjavik, Iceland. Hanwha Life continues the hero's journey, going toe-to-toe with some of the league's biggest legends in T1.
The Poppy locks down the Baron. Now can they win the fight, though, as they immediately just run over Chovy. And with Chovy dead, there is nothing left. It's a triple kill. T1, 3-0 Hanwha Life Esports.
Dive into our second day of quarterfinal play. RNG and EDG are the last hopes of the LPL, and today only one of them will make it through to the semifinal.
Okay, TP's coming in. There's the first knockup. Gala trying to kite. He's rooted, and he's going to drop. Bullet time hits 2 waves. A 2-for-0 so far. Xiaohu not going to find anything as the shockwave hits nothing at all. And here comes Yuumi healing up Scout. Will he die? The heals in yet again. Thank you, Moonstone Renewer. And they do not have the damage. It's 3 unanswered. It's 4 unanswered. It is RNG left, crying alone. This time, EDG won it all. This team, EDG, are headed to the semifinals.
Last hope of Europe face a monumental task in today's quarterfinal, taking down the reigning world champions and favorites to win it back-to-back, Damwon Kia.
Look for the fight. Damwon continued to push forward. Showmaker forced away.
It's chased, though.
Kicked away, and here comes Khan! And what a better way to find the picks than with a blank TP. First for the flank run-in, from Khan. Bullet time used as well. Armor forced off to the top side.
Wow, an insane comeback from Damwon.
We've arrived at our last quarterfinal between Gen G and Cloud9.
Perkz now set to fall. A bit of a heal now coming out, trying to walk away with the snare. Can they turn it back? Yes. Clint now down. They're running away. They're trying to fight into the pinch. Fudge waiting at his opportunity, but he runs away with the ult and dies to the Syndra anyway. Sven. Now Gen G advance to match point. Blabber tries his best to hold the line, but Perkz off on the backside. The stun will not connect. Blabber shut down. It's big for Ruler. The snare coming in. BDD, the stolen ignite. He's going to kill everybody if he's given time. Another stolen flash. He's popping off, but will it be enough? He goes back. They are on the edge of madness, but Life finds the shutdown with the help from the bubble.
Both Western teams drop out in quarters.
Worlds 2021 has been an LCK masterclass.
It all leads to this. Make or break.
Vitality will take